Brian Rose is a former Wall Street banker, technology CFO, and new media entrepreneur. Known worldwide as the founder and host of London Real. Since 2011, Brian has broadcast his conversations with over 500 of the most influential people in the world, from politicians to rock stars to CEOs of billion-dollar companies. People like Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk, Jordan Peterson, Jocko Willink, and Ido Portal. Together with these leaders, entrepreneurs, and experts, Brian creates timeless conversations that empower and inspire people to take action and achieve their maximum potential. London Real is now one of the largest new media platforms in the world, with over 250 million viewers and listeners. Brian is also the founder and CEO of the London Real Academy, an online platform for personal development that has graduated over 10,000 students since 2015. The same year he delivered his seminal TED Talk, Why I Left Millions in Banking to Inspire Millions Online. Brian's mission is to improve the lives of everyday people with the strategies, communities, and the accountability needed for real, lasting transformation, to create a more empowered, collaborative, and conscious world. Please welcome your host, Mr. Brian Rose.
Welcome everyone tonight to this masterclass. This is the ancient Greek speech structure that I use to take my TED Talk and make it go viral. I'm super excited to share with you some actionable information. This is gonna go by fast. I need you to pay attention. It's gonna be 3 pieces that I'm gonna go through that can literally change your life. I believe this can 10x everything you do in your personal life, in your business, in your impact on the world. So I wanna get started right away, but first type in and tell me, where are you from? What city are you in? We got people in Europe, in Asia, in America, in South America. But just type in what city you're from. And also, if you could type in, what's the biggest challenge you have right now when it comes to communicating and persuading others? What is hard for you? Are you embarrassed when you talk? Do people not listen? Are you not eloquent? Do you not know what to say? Finally, I want you to tell me, what do you want? Be honest. What do you want in your life? Do you want a raise from your boss? Do you want to pitch a new client? Do you want to pitch your family to go on a new vacation or move homes? Or maybe you want to actually get on the audience and pitch, or get on the stage and pitch an audience about your idea in a TED Talk or something else. But type in, what do you actually want? Because we're going to get there tonight. And like I said, I want you to eliminate all distractions. I'm going to do the same with yours. So take your mobile phone and let's put them on airplane mode, folks. All of those browsers on your desktop, I want you to close all of those things. You got Google search, you got YouTube. I don't know what you got up there. It's none of my business, but close it down. Tell the wife and the kids and the husband that you are hanging out with Brian Rose for the next 45 minutes. So the cat and the dog and the orangutan or whatever you got at home out of the room, because I need your focus and I need you to really pay attention, because this could change your life. I've had people come on the show and they've taught me about communication and it's taken me to the next level. And I know you can do it. Even if you think you can't, I know you can. So I want you to do that. You showed up, so I want to give you your download bonus. And it's one of my guests named Robert McKee. And he is a master when it comes to storytelling and teaching screenwriting. He actually taught my recent guest, John Joseph, who's in my movie Iron Mind, how to write, and helped him write his book and his screenplay. And the downloadable bonus, which I want you to watch after this masterclass, is him talking about Aristotle and storytelling, exactly what we're talking about tonight. I've also got 3 more bonuses ready for you at the end of this masterclass, so stay tuned for that. All right, tonight it's nice and simple. I'm going to give you 3 pieces of actionable information, and this is the Greek speech structure used by Aristotle. And it comes in 3 parts. The first is pathos. This is the use of emotion to communicate and persuade. The second part is ethos, and this is using your character or your credibility to get your point across. Finally, and this is the one most people leave out, is logos. This is using logic and facts to make your point. Without one of these things, you will never get what you want. But if you combine all 3, you can really change the game and change the world around you. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So why are you here? I know, you could be going out, hanging out, going to the movies, spending time with your kids, but you're here with me because you want to do 3 things. First of all, you want to be able to present your ideas with persuasion. It's one thing to tell someone what you think. It's another thing to get them to think what you think. That's number 1. Second, I want you to be more confident so you can get on a TED stage or a live masterclass and be able to speak about what's on your mind. Really important. And finally, I want you to be able to influence more effectively. And let's be honest, folks, it all comes down to influence if you want to change the game of your life. So those are the three things we're going to do tonight. That's why you're here. And again, the examples, there's so many. It could be asking for a raise from your boss, selling a service to a new client. It could be proposing a vacation idea to your family. It could be trying to get your kid to eat broccoli. I use all of these skills with my 2-year-old Caden. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but you have to understand this structure if you want to get your way. Or maybe you want to start a movement, you want to write a book, you want to make a movie. You need these in anything you're going to do, whether it's big or it's small. We're all selling all the time. That's just the truth, folks. A lot of us think selling is for salespeople. It's actually for all of us. We're always trying to get what we want in many situations, and tonight I want to show you how. But to be honest, I never started off knowing this stuff. I was not in the debate club when I was in high school. I was not an English literature major. I never was confident. I never got in front of people. I was not an acting student. I was the geek in science class. I had the beakers and the test tubes. I was at the California State Science Fair. I was really proud of that. I went to MIT and studied engineering where they don't even have a humanities department. There's no talking, there's no speeches, there's no any of that stuff. So I had to learn this stuff the hard way. And if you notice, when I started London Real for 3 years, I didn't even talk. I just listened to my guests because I didn't have these skills. But it got to a point where I had to take London Real to the next level. So I had to get out of my shell and I forced myself to go on the TED stage. And at that point, I had like 300 hours of video on YouTube. I had done hundreds of episodes of London Real, but those 16 minutes changed my life. Isn't that weird? 16 minutes of a speech on TED took this company in a whole new direction. It accounted for millions of dollars of revenue. My friends and family and influencers said, "Oh, Brian, now I understand what you're doing." And I was like, weren't you paying attention for the last 3 years? But they never saw me communicate it effectively. And that's what I want to teach you tonight. So I took that experience and I took it to the next level. Now I speak confidently to the team about my 100-year plan. I can speak with customers and build partnerships. I teach and inspire over 3,000 graduates from the London Real Academy and our accelerator programs. Finally, I host my new show called Real Deal, where I talk to the camera about current events, something I have to be very confident to do. And finally, I can make the impact and change the world in the way I want to do. And to be honest, the most important thing is I can actually communicate and influence the people most important to me, which is my family. And this is me coming home at night, trying to get Caden to play chess and eat the broccoli. And it really helps when you can communicate this way effectively with the people you love. So I'm no longer just the guy in the chair listening. Now I'm projecting my ideas to the world, which is probably why you're here. And this comes out in our movies and in all of the content that we create. So that's what this is all about tonight. So I want to hear from you. So I want to check in with Mr. Julian Bales, who is our head of strategy here, and of course my right hand or left hand man on all of these live master classes. Julian, we've got all these people out here from different parts of the world. What's going on? How are you feeling about tonight?
I'm feeling great about tonight.
You're looking great too.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Rose. It's an international crowd, as always.
I love it.
We have people from all over the world. We have Sally in Doha, Qatar.
Wow.
Tina in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, great stuff.
Anne-Marie just down the road here in Reading, England.
Excellent.
And Valet in Haarlem, Holland.
In Holland. Okay, fantastic. You know, as usual, we have an international crowd because the beauty of the internet is we can teach people in countries around the world. I think on our last accelerator program, we had people from 37 different countries in 14 different time zones. And look, I think that makes us stronger because we have more ideas from people all around the world. And the truth is, whether English is your first language or your second language, you can speak to inspire. Look at people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ariana Huffington. It's really not about that. It's about having the confidence to really put your ideas out there. And what are people saying about what they want to communicate, what they want in life, or what's their challenge when it comes to the communication process?
Jules says, I want to be amazing, inspiring others to be themselves. I want to be an inspiring and clear communicator.
Okay, an inspiring and clear communicator. It's so hard to get what's in your head out of your mouth and into someone else's ear to where they take action. I remember one of my mentors named Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, he said, Brian, the definition of communication is message sent, message received, message acted upon when I want you to. So this is the thing about communication. You can talk a lot, but if people aren't taking action, it's not being effective. So that's really, really helpful. What are other people saying?
Peter in Bulgaria says, I feel like when I speak that I'm not actually thinking. It's only after I stop talking that I start to think.
Yeah, look, I hear this from a lot of people. You know, they kind of run at the mouth with what's on their head. They haven't actually structured their talk. My TED Talk for 16 minutes, you remember, Julian, I practiced this over and over and over again. I used this Greek speech structure to design it with pathos, ethos, and logos. So you need to plan this before you talk. Once you do this enough, you can actually do it without thinking about it. But you're not alone. Most people have a really hard time with this.
Damien in Fleet here in the UK says, concern about losing the audience during a presentation. Always an issue if you have a longer talk, you don't have the right structure, right?
Yeah, look, this is really important. And you know, inside the course, we use all sorts of tools for this. A way of getting their attention, a way of pulling the audience back by using all sorts of these techniques. It comes down to body language a lot of times, but also the basic structure of your speech. If you're really using pathos, logos, and ethos, you are going to get somewhere. So we're going to teach you how to do that tonight. Again, you learn this stuff over time. It took me a while to figure it out, but once you do, this is the most single effective tool you can have. It's better than money, it's better than education, it's better than friends with influence. If you can communicate, you can really get what you want.
And finally, Suresh in Mumbai, India has that classic one, simply stage fright.
Stage fright, look, this is common. I think people get afraid of getting on the stage because they don't have a plan. I really believe that's true. If you really know what you're going to say and you've rehearsed it 10 or 20 times and you try little bits at a time, go up on stage for 2 minutes, go on stage for 3 minutes, you'll get over that. I think people get anxious when they just worry too much and they don't know what to do. I also teach in the course, it's the first 20 seconds on stage that's the hardest. So if you memorize that part, once you're there, you start flowing and you get into it and it gets much easier. So we'll talk all about that stuff tonight. All right, we're gonna get started here.
Let's do it.
All right, folks, let's do this. Like I said, we're here to take care of business tonight. So again, cut down on all your distractions, turn all those web browsers and mobile phones off, because I really want to talk about these 3 pieces of the structure that will make any speech absolutely incredible. And they come from a man named Aristotle. Well, type yes in the chat if you've heard of Aristotle. Type no if for some reason you've been living under a rock somewhere. But he is the father of Western philosophy. He was known for great ideas, and he recognized that the art of persuasion came down to these 3 basic elements. And that's why I want to talk about them tonight. And I want to review them here at the board. And the first one is going to be shown here on screen, I think, and it is what I call pathos. And let me go ahead and write these out right now, and you can see what I'm talking about here. And because I want to go through these 3 pieces, all right? So again, as you can see on the screen here, there's 3 parts of this structure, and the first one I want to talk about is pathos. So this is the ancient Greek speech structure. It's got this triathlon here, and this is pathos, P-A-T-H-O-S. All right. Later, we are going to get to ethos, and finally, I want to get to logos. All right. And this is one a lot of people actually forget about. So let's talk about pathos. What is pathos? What does it mean? Well, if you think about the Latin root word, what is path, these kinds of things, it's emotions. You really have to get your audience to feel emotions. A lot of us have this problem. And again, as a science kid and an engineer, I always used to forget about the emotional part. But what can you use to evoke emotions? You know, what are some of those things? And you know, I always think to myself, well, what are some of the things that make people feel that way? Well, get people to talk or think about what they love. Very, very important. Get people to have sympathy for you. Yeah? Get people to have fear. That's always good. That's a great emotion. Get people to get angry at you. These are all emotions you can really use to stir up. Think about a great movie that you saw. They all made you feel like this: anxious, joy, maybe envy. That's another great emotion as well. Envy. All of these can be used to get pathos. You want to really get people on this emotional roller coaster to buy into what you're talking about. Nothing is worse than just making a clinical, logical argument. We've seen that happen. Humans are emotional people, and you have to use these feelings to get people involved here. So I want you to think about this, and while you do that, I want to play for you the first 2 minutes of my TED Talk and see if you can find out what I'm doing here with your emotions. And again, I crafted this entire piece, so when you first met me, I took you on this emotional roller coaster, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but you might not like me at first, but this was all part of the design. So watch the first 2 minutes of my TED Talk. My story begins like all great stories do, and that is with Sir Richard Branson. I was staying at his private chalet in the Swiss Alps in a small town called Verbier. And this place comes complete with an ice rink, spa, indoor pool, and an outdoor jacuzzi. And I was there with 40 of my clients and colleagues celebrating a great year in the banking industry. We were all from the City of London Financial Centre. And we were sitting back having our après-ski drinks after having a long day on the slopes. And the fireplace was roaring and the jacuzzi was steaming. And you can feel the buzz of the evening as we were trying to figure out what restaurant to go to, what club to hit afterwards. And I realized that I finally had everything I had been working my entire life for. What my parents had wanted, what my university had promised me, and what I knew would finally make me happy. And that, quite frankly, was money and a successful career. And I went to pour myself a glass of champagne, and I got a text from a buddy in London, and he said, "How's the ski?" And so I looked around at all these people and out through the window, and I remember the pine trees and the snow coming down right around sunset, and I paused, and I wrote back, "I've never been surrounded by so many people and felt so alone." And 3 months later, I walked into the office of my managing director, and I resigned from my position of 10 years. I didn't want to do that work anymore. And I had no job, no prospects, and was absolutely terrified about what would come next. That was me doing pathos in my TED Talk. And so I was trying to get you really on an emotional roller coaster. And let's look what that actually felt like for you. I was trying to get you to real highs and lows when it came to your emotions. So I wanted you to really hate me at first. I was a rich, greedy banker hanging out in the Swiss chalet with Richard Branson, having a great time, but still somehow unhappy. Oh, poor him, right? And you saw me look around the room, and then I made a direct confession that I never felt so unhappy in my life, and then I quit my job. And so by the end of that, you kind of have a little bit of empathy, but you started off with some hate, maybe some envy, and that was all by design because I wanted to pull you in emotionally so then you'll listen to the rest of my speech. And I used things like tone of my voice. You can see I was really there when I told that story. There I was in the banker, and I looked around the room and I thought, I've never felt so alone. And that's really, really important. You can use vocabulary of how I really described that scene. I had the roaring fireplace and the people in the hot tub and really got the right words to explain what was happening. And finally, I used a great story to pull them in and walk them through what I was feeling. And this is something that I want you to think about using right now. What story can you use to tell the point that you want to get across? And again, this could be something inside your family. This could be to a new customer. This could be to pitching your boss. You have to have pathos in there. You have to tell them a story about something you struggle with or what's going on with you personally in order to get the raise. You can't just say, I need more money because I don't have any money. It has to have that story there. So take a second right now, and I want you to go ahead and type in the chat, what is that story that you can tell me or anyone listening to you that will create an emotional connection with your audience? And again, always make sure you go for the highs and the lows. If something was bad, make it really bad. If something was good, make it really good. And take me on this roller coaster. Don't be afraid to alienate someone. Don't be afraid to even look bad in a situation. If you think of great motivational speeches, a lot of times they share with you a really low moment of their life. It feels real, they make themselves vulnerable, and you buy into who they are. So type in the chat right now, what story could you tell about yourself that would really invoke pathos with your audience? And while you're typing that in, I want to share with you a story of one of my students. This is Terrence Moss, and he's a graduate of our Speak to Inspire course. I did personal mentoring with him and took him through this whole accountability process, but he had to get through something we called resistance. And this is something that a lot of speakers encounter, whether it's anxiety or stage fright or worried that people don't want to listen to them. But once you push through this resistance, you find that you can become a great communicator. And here's Terrence talking about that.
hit us with the accountability and the Zoom and everything else, I was like, hold on, I'm not ready for, I didn't sign up for this. I swear, honestly, I was like, I'm trying to produce this movie. I've got my property business. I'm managing my whole portfolio, and I'm thinking, where am I going to now find time to squeeze in for this? And then we did our first live call together, and you were like, Terrence, I was like, wow, I was speaking to Brian, and you gave me this really good feeling, and I was like, no, you know what? I have to commit. And that was the hard part, because the first lesson you taught us was about resistance. And once you unfold the resistance part, it made it easier for me to manage the property portfolio, the wife, the kids, and everything else. It made it a little bit more easier, because prior to that, it was just this, like, oh gosh, like I gotta let the wife down, and but I managed to, it's weird thinking about it now, 6 weeks later. It was fine. I managed that easier, knowing that it's resistance. Right. Than before, like, the world's just against me. Like, nobody wants me. I'm never going to be able to speak properly.
For people that don't understand, how would you explain resistance to them, or that concept?
Should I give them the Dan Pena version?
Go ahead.
Man, resistance is just moaning and complaining and crying and just being just stop. And I had to say, that was the biggest thing. Like, you know what, just stop, man. Stop complaining. Like, just go and do it. Like, you've got, like Gary says, you've got 18 hours in the day. What are you doing with them? And I was like, you know what, like, just stop. And that was the realization. And then the accountability with the team was that you understood. Like, remember when Joe told us the story about his dog?
Yeah. Dog that died, yeah.
Again, that point right there, when he lost his dog and he explained how close he was to it, man, I was like, Terrence, you know what, man? Like, you really, really are ungrateful. Stop complaining. Like, you got everything. What more do you want?
Yeah, and the beautiful thing of looking at resistance is it's not like your wife's against you, or the kids against you, or the job, your customers. It's just barriers that are put in front of you that are your job to surmount, and then you get the prize. Yes. And it's everywhere. And whenever you go to do something big, buy a big property, make a big movie, you're going to get resistance.
Definitely.
And so if it means that the financing's hard, or if it means your family says, where are you? It's like, oh yeah, that's all part of becoming a winner.
Yes.
It's not personal.
No.
It's not people trying to get you down. It's just something you got to deal with if you want to go big.
Definitely.
And it's a great way to take all the emotions out of it. And you're
wow.
like, oh yeah, that's it. That's resistance.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the way that Terrence talks about resistance here. It's actually a concept we introduced at the very beginning of this course, because we all have resistance to doing things. And that's why when I'm there to hold you accountable for 6 weeks, you can push through it and just get to the next level. Terrence did the same. I love working with him, and he's continued to become a better communicator. So now I want to go to the chat right here and find out about your stories. Again, if you're coming late here, tell me what story you would use to create an emotional connection with the people that are listening to you and your audience. Again, very important to have pathos here, which is going to tell you or create an emotional connection with your audience. So, Julian, do people understand this concept? Sometimes it's a little strange. Some people think, like, if I'm in a business context or I'm asking for a raise, I can't get emotional. But you actually need to, because we're emotional creatures.
Very true, very true. We've got some great stories starting to emerge here. Let's start with Hannah Ferguson, who's actually going to be joining us on the course.
Awesome.
Hannah says, the moment I wanted to drive my car into a tree after first losing my daughter to cancer, and then having my second child also diagnosed with incurable cancer. But after 4 years, I'm now tall and standing ready to help other people through trauma and depression.
I mean, wow, you just got my attention, Hannah. I mean, that's an amazing start to a TED Talk, to anything you would go and speak at a high school or speak to any group. And I'm telling you folks, I teach this in module 3 of the course, is that when you get vulnerable, you get people's attention, because we're all used to everybody playing it safe these days on social media. Everyone shares the happy times on Instagram. That's not how you make human connection. You do it by really invoking emotion. And you'll see the graduates of our course, they'll come here to London Real Studios and they'll give these speeches. I mean, I get tears watching these things. But Hannah, you just got my attention. And type yes in the chat if she just got your attention too. I'm just curious if it's just me. But Hannah, that's perfect. And again, folks, this isn't about puppy dogs and rainbows. That's not necessarily what's going to do it. Sure, you can tell a great story too, but take them through that emotional roller coaster like you just did, Hannah. That's a perfect example.
Robin says, how our son with autism went from IQ 60, not walking, not talking at the age of 7, to when they reached 14 years old, an IQ of 120, walking, talking, and healthy, and what that really says about the system.
Wow, that's super powerful as well. And again, if you can really take me to the lows of what it was like. You woke up one morning and it was your son's 7th birthday party and you went down and he couldn't even figure out what the cake was, or it was some like really low moment, and you give me the details, remember vocabulary, and tell me what really happened, what the weather was like that day, and I'll sit there and I'll just be feeling so much grief. And then fast forward to me about where he's going. You've got my attention for the next 12 minutes. You can take me on any journey. I mean, that's a 1 million view TED Talk. That kind of thing can literally change the world. So you're really getting this right away. So I love it. But again, make sure you don't hold back and tell the story with details, tone, and vocabulary. Very important.
Powerful one here from Catherine. She says, after my rape, I spent years feeling like I didn't own my own body, letting other people decide how I should feel about it and how I should use it. And no matter what I did, people saw me the way they wanted to see me, the way they thought I should be based on what I looked like. It was only when I made the conscious decision to rewrite how I saw myself and went as far as to shave my head so people would get to know my mind instead of my body, that now I feel strong and empowered enough to take on the challenges that face us in today's society.
I mean, again, super powerful, I mean, that really resonates with me. And again, it's a real story. Can everyone feel that? I mean, she's talking me through the details. She's shaving her head and she's got a lot of these symbols. I feel like I'm inside her body and I understand the decisions she's making, and I'm understanding it in a way that I wouldn't if this was kind of a superfluous story told without those emotional arcs. So again, you just got my attention. This is a TED Talk. It really is. And that's the funny thing. People think, oh, Brian, I'm nowhere near the TED stage. And in the course, I actually encourage people to get to TED. But you really need to tell this story to a bigger audience. I'm here to empower you. I'm here to show you that I did it, which means you can do it. All you have to do is follow this simple recipe, A, B, C, D, E, F, and some encouragement and some online accountability, and boom, you're gonna have this. But you must tell this story. That's the thing. You can't be selfish and hold it on the inside. A lot of people, they play small with their life, but I think that's being selfish with both of these stories. You gotta put yourself out there. Think about the people you're gonna help. Don't think about the way people are gonna look at you. That's the best way to really communicate. So great stuff. Any more?
Yeah, we've got a lot of people here talking about grief and loss as well.
Okay.
Marie says, losing my mum in a car accident affected a perfect child life, losing my dad emotionally, and then ending up with no house, nobody to be there for me, no money or food, no counseling or emotional support.
Okay. Yeah, this is all powerful. And again, you saw the way I started my TED Talk, right? I took you on this incredible high, and I knew that people were going to hate me, right? First of all, I showed up in a suit. I was like the only one at the TED Talk that had a suit on, and I'm talking about living this big life, and then I dropped in how sad I was and emotionally disconnected, and I had people. I mean, I could have said the alphabet for the next 14 minutes, and people would have paid attention. So starting off with vulnerability and pain is an amazing way to connect with people. I think everyone gets it here. If you don't have a story like this, you're not being honest with yourself. Go deeper. Walk me through what those details were like. What was it really like to be there? And you can really bring people into the situation. So great stuff, Mr. Bales. I love it. Let me continue, because I want to talk about the second part, okay? And this is ethos. This is a really important and crucial part of the ancient Greek speech structure. And let's go talk about it right now. I'm going to go over here to the board, and I'm going to walk you through this concept of ethos. And, this is a very important pillar of the ancient Greek speech structure, and I'm going to graphically illustrate it here with what we're calling ethos, all right? And again, we've already talked about pathos. Soon we're going to talk about logos. And let's talk about, what is ethos actually? Like, what does that really mean? Well, what it is it's your level of credibility as perceived by the audience. Who you are. And are people going to take you seriously? Are they going to take action on your message? This is really important. I'm here every single week at London Real Studios, getting someone in a leather chair. I'm broadcasting this out to you. Why does one person move you and one person doesn't? Why does Ido Portal, when he talks about movement, you pay attention? When Dorian Yates talks about bodybuilding and steroids, you pay attention. Because they have ethos, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Because if you don't have it, your audience won't respect you, they won't take you seriously, they won't find you trustworthy, and they will not think you're an authority on this topic. So let's go back to those amazing pathos stories we just heard about autism, about cancer, about rape, about car crashes. None of them mean anything if you don't have the ethos component. Why are you credible enough to tell me this? And that's really, really important right now, because we must determine these things. First of all, we must determine that you have expertise, okay? So if you're going to tell me a certain lesson, I have to know you're an expert in it. Yes, if you lived the life of having children with cancer, I would say you're pretty much an expert on telling me what that is like. All right, so very important there. What else is important? Terminology is actually important. Terminology. When you know the right terms and you can use them on a regular basis, then the terminology is crucial and it'll make you an authority, so make sure you use it. And then, of course, other things. Even how you dress is very important. When I went on the TED stage, I wore a suit. Whenever you go to communicate with people, it's very important to think about your posture, your dress, the kind of things that you're going to talk about, and of course, ultimately, what you're going to talk about. And right now, I want to share with you an incredible technique that you can use to really demonstrate your ethos. And it actually doesn't come down to dress. You don't need terminology. This is really the one that most people don't talk about. And this is using a story to demonstrate your ethos. Now, what does that mean, Brian? Well, it means when you tell someone a story, in the background, you're actually telling them a different story. And I'm going to give you an example of one of my guests doing this right now. This is Jocko Willink, a U.S. Navy SEAL, pretty much the most badass dude I've ever met, right? He's gone through some heavy military situations. He was in Ramadi in Iraq. He had some of his own soldiers killed and had to lead them. He has been there, seen that, and done that. And this is Jocko speaking to me in the studio, and see if you can tell me how he is demonstrating his ethos through this story. Watch this now.
I always wanted to be a commando ever since I was a little kid, and I heard that the SEALs were really tough and that the training was really tough, and so that's the one I went to. And I also heard that they were stationed in San Diego, which I grew up surfing in New England, and so to have an opportunity to go be stationed where there's legitimate great waves all the time, I was all over it. So that's one of the major reasons why I picked the Navy and the SEAL teams. And then, you know, once you get in, everyone makes a big deal out of buds. But it's in the SEAL teams, it's no big deal. Everyone goes through it. You get cold, you get wet, whatever. You do a bunch of push-ups and pull-ups and dips, but it's anyone that gets to the SEAL teams and does deployments overseas and has a real career, they're not talking about buds training. Okay. It just doesn't mean anything. I wasn't a great athlete. You got kids in there that ran college track or swam in college, and anybody that ran college track or college cross country is going to breeze through every run. Anybody that swam is going to have no problem with the swimming. But you know, it finds people's weaknesses. And so I was like a gray man that was just in the middle of everything. I was in the middle of the pack on the runs, I was in the middle of the pack on the swims, I was in the middle of the pack on the obstacle courses. I was just in the middle of the pack. But when you had guys that excelled in some areas, some guys just were really good athletes and they excelled in everything. But some guys excelled in one area, they were incredible runners, but they couldn't swim and they wouldn't make it. You know, I had guys, I don't know if I've ever said this on a podcast before, but I had a guy that was, you know, a NCAA water polo team captain champion, and he quit. And I had a guy that was an Olympic alternate gymnast, and he quit. So those are two guys that are way better athletes than I would ever be, but they quit. And the same thing you find is when you get to the SEAL teams, just because someone's a good physical athlete, it doesn't mean that they're a good SEAL, because being a good SEAL is a lot more than just being a good athlete. In fact, being a good athlete is like the baseline. And it's everything that you learn to do after that makes you a good SEAL.
Now, what did Jocko do there? Well, he told you a story about buds training, but he also told you that actually getting through this incredibly hard Navy SEAL test was actually nothing. And the real hard work came when you actually had to be a SEAL and deliver on the battlefield. So he showed you through a story that not only was he able to get through the initial test, he was really next level, kind of the alpha of all soldiers. So think about what story you could use to demonstrate to people that you're the right person to talk about this. So go ahead and think about that right now. Why are you the right person? What happened in your life? What is the story you could tell to demonstrate that you're the right person to talk about these issues that you want to speak of. So go ahead and type that in the chat right now. I want to give you a few examples of my former guests that really know how to use ethos well, all right? And the first one that comes to mind is, of course, Mr. Dan Pena. Now, one of the first ways he just demonstrates his ethos is, what does he call himself? The $50 billion man, right? Now, if that isn't a demonstration of ethos, I don't know what is, right? He says right away, look at all this money, and that's me. And so that's what he says. He goes on to tell you that through his teaching and mentoring over 25 years, he's created $50 billion of equity and assets and value for companies. So boom, right away, that's ethos. What else does he do? He tells you stories about him in the Army. He tells you stories about him on Wall Street, right? He tells you stories about him hunting for animals, right? And killing them with his bare hands, like a bear with his bare hands. He's constantly telling stories that establish his ethos. He's really good at this. You probably don't even know it's happening. He drops some of the people that he's mentored. He's mentored the governor, the current governor of Florida. He's mentored CEOs of major corporations. He's mentored me. He's always dropping people's names and showing you his ethos. Dan Pena is one of the best in the business, all right? But let's continue. There's more. What about someone like Ido Portal, right? Ido Portal is an incredible mover. What are the things he talks about? He talks about all the different movement things that he studied. He studied martial arts. He studied capoeira. He studied gymnastics. He's always talking about all the disciplines and the teachers and what he knew. The next thing that he always talks about is who? Conor McGregor, right? And if you know Conor, he is probably the most famous fighter in the world. He's fighting for the UFC now in a month, and Ido associates himself with Conor. There's tons of videos with him. He's talking about what he taught him. That is ethos in disguise, folks. That's the way that he can show his credibility as a person, because he's teaching world-class experts. And my final example of this is Dorian Yates. And Dorian is, of course, one of our most popular guests on London Real. And, well, what do you know about Dorian? Well, when Dorian introduces himself, who is he? Well, he is the 6-time, there we go, Mr. Olympia. So what does that mean? Well, that means he was considered to have the greatest male physique in the world for 6 years in a row. Right now, that gives me complete ethos. And what is the most popular video of Dorian Yates online right now? It's him talking about steroids and aging. Now, why is his the most? There's a lot of people out there that talk about steroids, young kids, there's doctors, but Dorian has the ethos because he's been there, he's done that, he's used it in competition, he's an expert on it. So when he talks about it, his video goes viral. That's the perfect example of ethos. What is your ethos? And type in the chat right now, why are you the right person to talk about this? What story can you use to demonstrate it? Or what sentence can you use to describe yourself that shows me that you're the right person? So type that in the chat right now. I want to go and evaluate. We're 2/3 of the way there, folks. There's only one more thing I'm going to show you is logos. And while you're typing, I want you to hear a quick story about Jen Walter. And she's one of my graduates of our Speak to Inspire program. She actually came to the studio here for our optional graduation ceremony. She won the contest for the best speech, but she had a hard time speaking in front of a camera when she started. We taught her how to follow through. She was always a procrastinator before, but we had an accountability system that got her to film a video speech of herself every single week using these tools. By the time she was done, she was confident to get up in front of the entire studio here. Here's a little bit more about Jen Walter.
I had some personal goals for myself, and I was not getting them done. And then all of a sudden a week fit by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm like, I need some sort of accountability to get this done. And you talked about the accountability document, and it's like, I need that. So I needed to also find a way to inspire myself. I can't inspire someone else to do something if I can't tell myself to do it. So it was for inspiration, but then also to be accountable to go forward and do things.
Okay, and why London Real?
You, really. I was in the workshop group, and there were people on there that were inspiring me, and the support and that community of just that workshop group was incredible. And the feedback that you gave individuals and what I'd seen in other programs was impressive. And I really wanted to be part of that. I started watching some TED Talks on geography, and they weren't using your principles that you learned in this class. So I'm like, we could do something better. I could do another talk, maybe not a TED Talk this year, but the idea that that's a possible future for me. So I'm like, I feel so empowered. That's a different person. There's so much more confidence right now. The world is my oyster. I can do whatever I want to do. The path is mine.
So, do you suffer from procrastination? You know, a lot of people want to be better speakers, but if you can't actually take action every single week, you'll never get there. That's what Jen did. We just taught her to be accountable to her actions. She moved forward. She found out she was actually an incredible speaker. She just never knew it because she procrastinated. So that's what we do inside the Academy. Now I want to go to you and find out, what is your ethos? And Julian, this is a weird concept sometimes for people because it's this funny Latin word and they're like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if I have a cool story like Jocko does. I don't have a thing called the $50 billion man. Some people struggle with this at first, but it's so important. I find myself telling stories all the time that really are just building up my ethos. When I talk about Wall Street or I talk about this, I'm really just dropping in hints that I am someone credible to be listened to. So what are people saying here?
Let's start with Sofu Fernandez. He says, for street defense, I've had over 26 years working security. I've worked the door alone, crowd control, riot control. He's been the leader of security squads in political and public confrontations. He's had hundreds of direct street confrontations himself, been attacked in many ways, stabbed, clubbed, nearly shot. It sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, look, I like it already. So that's great. You know, I would find a way, maybe you could either try to find a way to condense that by half and hit me with the points that'll really get me. I like it. And maybe even a story that might incorporate all of those elements would be awesome. So the craziest night of my life actually didn't happen when I was the doorman of an exclusive club. And I've been doing that for 26 years. I had been stabbed and shot or whatever, but it actually happened when I was in the supermarket. And my 12 years of special forces training is what got me through. You see what I'm doing there? So you're dropping all these hints and telling me a story at the same time, and then you've got me for the next 12 minutes. So I love this. It's super important. If you can find a creative way to do this, people will appreciate it and they'll buy into what they're doing, but you already have got the idea. And again, if you don't establish this, I won't listen to you. And you could tell this, you could give me the same piece of information as someone else, and I'll listen to them via you. And that's what I always say with Ido Portal or Dorian Yates or Dan Pena. We listen to them because it's them saying it. That's what it is. I remember when I trained with Ido Portal, I went to the gym the next day and I was doing this lizard walk on the ground. Really, I looked ridiculous. I was on the ground walking around like a lizard, and my personal trainer said, Brian, if I asked you to do that, you wouldn't do it. But if Ido asked you to it, you get on the floor, walk like a lizard. And I said, yeah, exactly. I would do what he says because he's got massive ethos. So this can go a long way. What else are people saying? What are the stories here?
Iowa says, I have a profound experience through near death and loss of identity, empowering me to awaken to find the true nature of my being.
Okay, that's good, but I need to know more details. So that's a great example, and I can see where you're going, but I need you to show me, not tell me, when it comes to that ethos. So again, show me that, describe a situation you were in, talk about some training that you went through, that I've been a coach in this situation. Some of the stories earlier actually had ethos baked in, right? When someone says, I have 2 children that suffered through cancer, 6 years later, I'm standing tall. Well, she shows me that she lived that life. So sometimes you can bake it into your story, but for you, I need more details. I need to really feel like you're that person. So show me, don't tell me. That's why posture is important, what you dress is important, and the stories you tell are very important.
Olympia here, talking about domestic abuse, says, when you look at women that are covered in thick makeup, wearing inappropriate clothes for the summer weather, with long sleeves and turtlenecks, big thick dark glasses, families that are torn apart due to violence, and women that feel alone, unworthy, and do not trust anyone. This is what I've been through for many years, but I'm one of those that has escaped.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So this is showing that you have a lot of knowledge and you see things in different ways. I might want to hear more about your stories going through and having these same behaviors, and talk about how you've studied this for many years. I've worked with women, and I know that these are the factors that make this happen, and it builds your credibility as someone who's a real expert in this field. So I'd say that's interesting, slightly off, Again, I want to know why you're the expert I should trust. Again, if I had to cut a check right now for $1,000 to someone to give me coaching on this subject, how would you prove to me that you're the one that should get the money? That should be ethos. When it comes to Jocko, he's got my check for Navy SEAL. Dan Pena, $50 billion man, he's got my check. Ido Portal, he's got my check. They all have shown me they're the expert. You show me you're the expert. That's really, really important here.
Finally, talking about money there, Sean says, I've built a career earning much, much more than the average software engineer. Sounds interesting, right? But probably need some more details.
Yeah, I need some more details. So I need to know, first of all, how long's that career? Drop some company names in there. Say that I've made 3 times the industry average. I've been promoted before everyone else. Give me some more of those accolades and accomplishments. Again, is there a school you went to? What are some things you can use for social proof that build it up? If you go to the London Real website, if you go to the Speak to Inspire page, if you look underneath, actually, you'll see that I've been on the BBC, on Russia Today, I've been on Mail Online, I've been on all of these things. I went to MIT, I've been on London Real for 7 years. All of these things stack up to make you say, oh wow, he's got some ethos and some credibility. So think about how to bake that in. Even better, tell me a story of a problem you solved as a software engineer that would do all of that at once. That is a great speech. All right? Cool. Let's finish this thing off tonight with probably the most important part of the masterclass. And this is the one everyone forgets. They think that maybe it's too scientific. Maybe it belongs in academia. Maybe it belongs in some research paper. But the truth is it belongs in every single piece of communication. You must use logos. And let's go to the board here and we can talk about what logos actually means. And this is the third part of our triangular speech structure. And if you remember, we started off with pathos, which was the feelings you make someone feel. How can you get them to have emotions, right? That's what humans are. We're emotional beings. Next, we talked about ethos. Why am I listening to you? I have so much choice right now. I can go on YouTube. I can listen to thousands of TED Talks. Why am I listening to you? Because you showed me with ethos. Finally, logos. What is logos? Well, in essence, it's synonymous with what we call a logical argument. Does your message make sense? Now, you can do this in many ways, all right? For logos, we can use facts. We can use statistics. We can use evidence. But you have to use something that can actually be proven in the physical world. Very important here. We're no longer emotional. Throw that out. We're no longer talking about you as a credible deliverer of that message. Now we're talking about logos and logic. And that's really, really important to think about here. So I want you to think about facts, statistics, historical examples, things that actually happen, quotes. Give me something firm that I can really hold on to that shows me that you've done your research and that what you talk about actually is rooted in something that has a factual basis. And I want you to listen to one of my guests here on London Real, and I love this guy, right? His name is Dr. Michael Greger. He is probably considered the most renowned doctor and speaker when it comes to talking about a plant-based diet. And he's written multiple New York Times bestsellers. The book that I think he's talking about here is his one called How Not to Die. And watch the way that Michael Greger uses logos and see if you can see what he's doing here and how it makes you feel when he puts it in the speech structure. Here's Michael Greger.
Well, like the U.S., according to the Global Burden of Disease Study, which is the largest study of disease risk factors in human history, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the #1 cause of death and disability among Britons is the British diet. And the same thing in the United States, the American diet. #1 cause of death, bumping tobacco smoking to #2. Now, cigarettes only kill 500,000 Americans every year, whereas our diet kills hundreds of thousands more. So when you think about, physical inactivity, not getting enough exercise, smoking, all that ranks below diet, both in the UK and in the US. But that's great news. That means we have tremendous control over our health, destiny, and longevity. The vast majority of premature death and disability is preventable with a plant-based diet and other healthy lifestyle behaviors. So that's great.
Okay, and so most G20 countries are suffering from the same problem. They've got an abundance of foods, they're making the wrong choices. Is that usually what's happening?
Yeah, and so infectious diseases. So I mean, people used to die of infectious. You go back 100 years ago, right? The leading cause of death of things like pneumonia. That was before antibiotics. So now, and modern medicine is great with those kind of acute conditions. You have an infection, antibiotics can cure you. You have a broken legs, we can set it. There's all sorts of neat surgeries that you can do. But for chronic disease, and that's really what's these are the plagues. These are the kind of the pandemics of diabetes and obesity and heart disease and hypertension. That's what's killing us now. And unfortunately, medicine has little to offer, right? We can kind of slow down the rate at which you die from diabetes. We can slow down the rate at which you go blind, at which you lose your kidney function, go on dialysis, slow down the rate at which you get lower limb amputations. But in terms of stopping the disease, preventing the disease in the first place, or reversing the disease, unfortunately, mainstream medicine has very little to offer because these are lifestyle diseases, right? So yeah, you can treat the symptoms, you can artificially lower people's blood pressures with blood pressure medications, but why not treat the cause in the first place, which is these inflamed, crippled arteries, because primarily what we're eating, although certainly cigarette smoke plays a role too.
How did that logos make you feel, right? When Michael Greger's dropping those statistics and science, you're like, oh my gosh, wow, he's really right. My diet is what's actually killing me, not lung cancer, all this other nonsense. So it really gets you and it moves you. And if there's a speech without logos, trust me, you won't get the action. It's missing something. So look, I know you're not Dr. Greger, and I know you don't have stats right here on your arm, but I want you to think, what is some logos you can use? It could be a fact, a statistic, it could be a proven example, it could be a historical example. What is something you can use to talk about your speech? There was an autism piece here earlier. We could talk about that. It turns out that 15% of all children are born this way and we don't know it. It could talk about surviving cancer. It could talk about rape statistics and incorporating these women back into society. These are the kind of things that when you drop them in, all of a sudden, you become a powerful speaker because you have actually dropped in a little research and I'm like, wow, I had no idea, and it makes you really, really credible. So just right now, think, what are the facts, statistics, or proven examples? If you don't know what it is, type what you'd like it to be. Does that make sense? Did you know that 4 out of 5 women or 4 out of 5 cancer patients or 4 out of 5 autistic children suffer from this and are not doing this the right way? And we can find the facts later. So try that now. And I want to give you an example of me. In my TED Talk, I talked about Steven Pressfield, who's an author of the book called The War of Art. And in that, he had a concept called resistance. Sound familiar? I teach this in my courses. That's why Terrence got over his resistance and Jen Walter got over their resistance. And I talked about this as if it was something that was written about by a famous author that was in a famous book. And I talked about how resistance is directly proportional to the size of the action you want to take in this world. And when I started London Real, I encountered massive resistance. It was a little piece of logos that I dropped in there. Another one of my more famous London Real guests is Simon Sinek. You would know him because he wrote a book called Start With Why. He has a famous TED Talk where he started talking about Apple Computer. He started talking about the Wright brothers who built the very first airplane. He started talking about Martin Luther King and a speech he gave in the 1960s. These are all examples of using logos inside of a speech. Go to a historical fact. Tell the story about the start of Apple Computer and what they do to make their devices better. It takes your arguments and places them in logic. And again, it's supremely powerful. It's the missing element in most people's speeches. Most people drop a little bit of ethos in, kind of usually not so good. They do a little bit of pathos, but not usually with an emotional arc. They always forget the logos. But with Google, you can have logos like this. I could argue that most of you could probably Google right now your topic and find a statistic, autism statistics, cancer statistics, and you'd find it out right there. Always drop logos in. And my final example is if you ever come to one of my live events, we do something called active meditation. And before we do this whole crazy physical and emotional ritual, I actually show you how I learned this from Elliot Hulse, and I show you the 5 components of active resistance. And I show you what they're like: catharsis, tranquilization, and I show you each one. It's my way of introducing logos to get you to do something, and it works every single time. I get people jumping up, screaming like animals, falling on the ground. It's amazing because I've used logos in that speech. So again, I want you to go ahead and type in there what facts, statistics, proven examples, historical examples that you can use in your speech or your pitch to someone else. And while you're doing that, I want to share with you a story of one of my graduates. His name is Dominik Bonisch. He's from Germany. He's the CEO of a very large media company. And he had a hard time getting vulnerable, right? Not the biggest thing to do in Germany, start talking about your emotions, but I told him in the beginning of the course, I said, Dominik, if you want to be an effective CEO, if you want to have a great speech, you have to get vulnerable to create a connection. And he went ahead and he did that, and he found that he actually connected with his employees, he got more clients, and he became a greater leader by doing so. Here's Dominik talking about the power of vulnerability.
Because it delivers results. And as you said, I already have been on one of the courses, and I really like how nobody gets a place to hide. You have to be there and do it. And it's also amazing to learn from the others. The group really works together, and in the first time and also in the second time, there have always been people standing up and helping others. They picked them up, they dragged them along the way, they made everybody move, and this is special about London Real. You guys have a really good concept of getting the group to do the work and also to assist you in helping others. And the group energy, which gets released in that way, is just amazing. For me, like opening up and getting emotional was like a problem all over the course. I mean, I had needed your kick in the butt in the last workshop call to really step my game up. I mean, I tried before, I just couldn't manage to do it. I thought I was opening up, but I wasn't. And it just takes practice.
Yeah, and it's hard because as a CEO, you can't do that every day. Like you can't do that stuff in the workplace. But as a speaker, no one's going to connect with you unless you show them something about you and tell them something that's vulnerable. Because we don't need another speech about teaching me something obvious about leadership or this or this or that. You know that. But when you can give us a perspective that you're sharing something about you, then everybody starts listening.
Now I want to hear about your logo. So again, any kind of a fact or statistic, if you don't know what it is, type in what it could be, and I'm going to go to Julian here and check in with the chat. What are people saying about this? This is a hard concept for some people to understand. Also, it's hard to pick up those facts right away. The beauty of Google is you can find this stuff. 20 years ago, you'd have to go to a library. It could literally take days or weeks. These days, you can pretty much find the statistic you want almost immediately. What are people saying about this?
Let's start with Nicholas. He's got a very simple one that's very easy to kind of grasp in our head. So he says 90% of all diseases are lifestyle-related illnesses, meaning we have control over curing them. Only 10% or less are actually hereditary or incurable.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you just took a page from Dr. Michael Greger there. I mean, he really much said the same thing. And once you put it in a statistic form, and you saw what he did, he said, okay, lung cancer is here and eating habits or choices are here. It really hits home because you use the logo. So I like it already. I love it. Make sure the stat is right, because anybody can check it these days, but you can find it and then use it. Again, I like to incorporate 2 or 3 pieces of logos in any speech. And again, it's what always takes it over the line.
Bruce, who's written a book about a new paradigm in human origins, for which our good friend Graham Hancock has written the foreword.
Oh, nice, very nice.
He says that his logos here is a discrepancy he's noticed in the age when Aboriginals were on the Australasian soil, that conflicts with the out of Africa theory.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
He's noticing discrepancies between the dates.
Great stuff. First of all, Graham Hancock's incredible. I actually just sent him an email today. We're trying to get him back on the show. He's an amazing guy because he's got a great use of logos, right? And it's kind of what you're talking about here. Graham Hancock is always telling people, look, things are older than you think they are. And if you look at this study and this finding, you'll see that this is true, and it's probably true in other parts of the world. And again, Graham Hancock is also a great storyteller, great use of pathos, great use of ethos, but it's the logos that takes Graham over the top, and it's what you're doing here. I would love to get a few numbers in there, and show that this is thousands of years here, or this is here, or it looks like this is millions of years off, and it really hits it home, shows me you've done your research, and makes your point even better. So I love this concept. Again, throw like a dash of logos in here, a little bit of a squeeze of lime here, here, and here. All of a sudden, you become so much more credible, and you are able to persuade other people.
And finally, Simon says, according to international surveys on happiness, the 2 happiest nations, Norway and Denmark, have many socialist policies, including free healthcare, free adult education, a high minimum wage, and free childcare.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, this is perfect. You can drop that in the speech. It's not going to confuse people with like 74.2%, and I got to think about this stuff. It just gives 2 great examples. The highest of this, they both have this. If you're making an argument about these kind of social structures being the way we have to go forward, you drop this in on one of your points, and boom, you just move forward. You've just gained massive amounts of credibility. I'm guessing you already had a great story with your pathos. You've got great ethos because you've been an expert. You've been studying this. You've been to these nations. You've traveled around the world. All of a sudden, you've got a talk that can really move people, right? You've got something that can help start a business, can help start a charity, can help get CEOs online, can help get donations. That's how a great speech can really change the game. And if you don't put this logos in here, you can have the best ethos and pathos, but it's not going to get people to take action. So again, folks, drop this in there. Get on Google tonight and go ahead and start putting this stuff in there. Again, don't overdo it. We've all heard the speech where someone's quoting too many journals. That's not necessary, but you must have some logos to get to the next level. All right? Good?
That's good.
Okay, good. Look, I want to wrap this up with a few final thoughts. And the first is this. Great speakers are not born, they are made. And you can get yourself to the next level when it comes to communication and persuasion. All you have to do is, first of all, trust the process, find the right mentor, and then go through the blueprint. It is literally A, B, C, D, E, F, and you can get there. I started off as a horrible speaker. I was nervous, I was anxious, I was an introvert, I was antisocial. I loved numbers, I loved computer programming because it was comfortable. There was logic to it, but it didn't get me anywhere. It never helped me start a company. It never helped me take a business to the next level. It never helped me get 300,000 people to buy into what I was saying. And that is something that I learned. And I learned it from 500 of the greatest speakers right here inside the studio. I watched them. I learned from them. I asked them questions about how they communicated, and I put it all in one single place. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight, because I know you're tired of being ignored. I know you're tired of being frustrated. I know you're tired of being passed over for that promotion, about your family dominating you in situations, about people just not listening to you, talking over you, because you don't have the confidence, you don't have the speech structure, you don't have the accountability to get your life to the next level. But I'm here to tell you that this right now, this second, is the time for all of that to stop. And if you want to lead a fulfilling life and literally 10x your income, your impact on the world, your social status, the amount of fun you have in this world, you must take action right now. And this is the perfect opportunity, because as of right now, I have opened our Speak to Inspire course, where you will learn how to speak, inspire, and impact like the greatest guests on London Real. I'm going to teach you how to communicate with confidence, how to learn to be more persuasive, and how to learn how to inspire anyone. I do this once per year, and you will be joining a group of students from around the world, and you will be going through this process together as a team. It's like a Navy SEAL team. You'll have speeches to do every single week. You'll be uploading videos. You'll have live calls with me, and I'm going to get you through all that procrastination, the insecurity, the feeling like you can't do this. I'm going to show you that you can be a confident speaker. This is going to take your life to the next level. This is going to allow you to get promoted, start new businesses, start new relationships, hang out with awesome, cool people like I do every single week here at London Real. It's because I know how to speak. It's because I know how to inspire. And so this is our online accountability course at London Real. Nobody does what we do in the world when it comes to education and teaching. Nobody, because we go all in when it comes to showing you how to get to the next level. And that's because I have 3 pillars on how I teach. That is strategy, community, and accountability, which is the most important one. When you combine those 3 together, you get what we have here in the Academy, which is a 96% completion rate. 96% of my students graduate. I've graduated over 3,000 people from my Academy. The average online is 5%. And the reason we do this is because of strategy, community, and accountability. So let's talk about the strategy, and this is what you're going to learn for the next 6 weeks. The first one is Module 1, and here you can see where you're going to discover your inspirational message. I'm going to teach you the 5 London Real commandments of great speaking. I'm going to show you my personal process for eliminating nervousness completely, and I'm going to show you how to overcome your fears to actually crush it on stage. That's in the first 7 days. But it gets better, folks. Module 2 is where it gets really interesting. Here, you're going to craft your message for maximum impact. I'm going to show you the proven methods for crafting your ideas into well-structured speeches. I'm going to show you the #1 best way to structure your talk to be like the most influential speakers in the world. And then I'm going to show you how to use a bulletproof action to make people do what they want you to do without actually feeling it. Now we're getting warmed up. You're seeing these people from around the world. You're coming out of your shell. You're getting more comfortable posting video online. We're getting really to groove with these people. These are going to be your friends. These people are going to inspire you. You'll see some of these people will create books. They'll have TED Talks. It's really getting fun now, but now comes Module 3. This is charismatic storytelling techniques. I'm going to teach you how to be authentic from a place that feels easy and natural. I'm going to show you the power of using the hero's journey, which is an incredible technique, to amplify the effects of your story. And I'm going to show you how to deliver captivating stories that draw people's attention instantly. But this is the halfway point, but we're really just getting warming up, because Module 4 is bulletproof your credibility. This is taking ethos to the maximum. You're going to learn how to uncover the juicy hidden facts about your topic that completely stun your listeners. You're going to learn what I call the instant inspire moment, and you're going to get an effective method for using statistics, quotes, and testimonials from other experts to take your speech to the next level. Now, Module 5 is the secrets to authentic delivery on stage. This is where you start using your body and your presence.
Here, you'll learn how to shape a magnetic voice to captivate your audience, and how to master your body language to be stage ready under the spotlight. Module 6, Persuasion Frameworks to Influence the Masses. Here, you'll learn Aristotle's world-famous persuasion framework. Next, how to encourage people to take action using Monroe's motivated sequence. And finally, how to crush a live event. Audience tactics to maximize the energy in the room. Module 7, Make Them Laugh, Comedy Fundamentals. Here you'll learn 3 bulletproof comedy fundamentals: the rule of 3, the power of misdirection, and the law of opposites. Module 8, Crush Your Final Speech. Here we'll review everything from the entire course to prepare for your final presentation. Next, I'll show you how to present online with impact. And finally, we'll create your action plan for the next 12 months.
You get lifetime access to this content. You get workbooks with every single module. Each module has 3 videos and, of course, the live call with me. But that's only one part, the strategy. Next comes the community. Folks, you're going to be with this incredible group of peers from around the world. These are experts, these are entrepreneurs, these are amazing people. You won't be alone on this journey. You're all going to move through this course at the exact same time, consuming the video modules, doing the work. You're going to meet people in this course who are going to become your friends, your partners, your investors, your collaborators for life. You're going to all be in a private Facebook group where you're going to be getting vulnerable, uploading videos. You're going to have success and failure. By the end, you're going to be like a family. And this is what it looks like when everyone comes together for our optional graduation ceremony in London. Again, the people on this course are actually the hidden value. They're worth the price alone, just the peer group, because these people are going to change the game for the rest of your life. They're going to push you, and mark my words, these are going to be the future CEOs of companies, TED speakers, New York Times bestselling authors, people that change the game. But the final pillar of what we do inside the Academy is the accountability, folks. Nobody does accountability the way we do. You've heard some of the people talk about that tonight. Well, look, a lot of people go out there and watch things, but they don't actually do it. I have an entire accountability document and process to where I make sure you do the things that you don't want to do in order to be the most effective speaker out there. And it comes down to what I call triple tier accountability. This is 12 hours of live calls, an accountability doc to make sure you do the work every single week, including upload videos of your speeches, and of course 24/7 support from me and my team leaders. This is how it works, folks. We have live calls on Tuesdays and Sundays. Tuesday is the keynote call. Sunday is the workshop call where I give you feedback on your speeches and what you're doing right. I do this once per year. If you're right now with me live, You must pull the trigger on this. This is a sign. This can literally change your life more than anything else, including money, education, connections, whatever. It's your communication skills that get you to the next level. Think about the greats, the great leaders, the great CEOs, the great fighters. They all had communication skills. But there's more. I've got 3 special bonuses tonight if you want to join me while here on this masterclass. The first one is bonus number 1. This is the Inspirational Speaker Lifestyle Blueprint. I'm going to show you how to build a business as a highly paid speaker. I'm going to share with you expert level strategies to create an amazing speaker lifestyle. And finally, I'm going to show you how to find better speaking gigs that will pay you big money. That's yours for free tonight if you join. But there's even more. I've got a second bonus for you, which is your next big promotion. How would you like to make 20% more money, 40% more money tomorrow? Well, I'm going to show you here different strategies for using professional speaking skills to influence people in your workspace. I'm going to show you how to build a compelling case to why you deserve a better opportunity at work, of course, using pathos, ethos, and logos. And finally, I'm going to show you the key to speaking with persuasion while coming from a place that's authentic. Very, very important. But there is more. The final bonus is bonus number 3. This is called Win More Clients, Make More Money. Let's be honest, you all have to provide value at work, and I'm going to show you how to use persuasive speaking skills to sway investors and well-paying clients to your business. I'm going to show you a framework to sell effectively from any platform to get what you want. And finally, I'm going to share with you advanced selling methods to supercharge your influence. All 3 of these bonuses are yours tonight if you pull the trigger and join us. But actually, there's even more. Because if you pay in full tonight, I've got 2 extra special bonuses. The first is Dan Pena Live at the Ritz. This was an event I held here in London with 30 high-level entrepreneurs, including a billionaire in the room. And Dan Pena himself, the $50 billion man, came out and started blasting. I've got 6 hours of highly motivational video content I'm going to give to you instantly tonight if you pay in full. And I'm also going to give you a live video kickoff call with me before the course starts so we can talk about what are your major challenges when it comes to being a communicator. Both of these are yours free tonight if you pull the trigger and join me on the Speak to Inspire course. This is the total value of what you will get if you join me tonight. It's 6 hours of on-demand video training. Bonus number 1, the Inspirational Speaker Lifestyle Print. Bonus number 2, your next big promotion. Bonus number 3, win more clients, make more money. Dan Pena Live at the Ritz, my live video kickoff call. I've got 12 hours of live video calls, access to our private Speak to Inspire Facebook group, 24/7 email support for 6 weeks, and of course, lifetime access to the course and the workbooks. That is a value of $26,656. I'm telling you, we go big here, folks. So now you're saying, Brian, what is the level of investment for this? Well, it's a great question. Of course, $26,000 worth of stuff. You've got me on a live call. I'm personally mentoring you for 6 weeks. I'm pushing you to do the things you don't want to do. I'm going to get you to speak. I'm not just going to send you a video. I want to see you uploading videos to that Facebook group, and I'm going to call you out on the live calls if you don't do it. I'm going to get you to the next level. And if you join us in London for our optional graduation ceremony, you're going to give a speech in front of me here at London Real World headquarters. I am delivering you results. This is an investment in your future. You get all of this
for the low price of $2,997. Of course, we do have a payment plan, which is 6 payments of $597.
This will take your life to the next level. It could lead to millions of dollars in revenue over the course of your life. I know my TED Talk did that for me. Of course, I also have a premium version if you want to take the course and then join me here at London Real Studios and smell the leather, sit in the same chair as Ido Portal and Dorian Yates and Dan Pena. And of course, I have an inner circle program where I have a small group of high-level entrepreneurs from around the world that are building 7- and 8-figure businesses. If you want to join me on that, it's 6 months of personal mentoring after the course is over. This is when a lot of people start to slip on what they've been doing, and I'm going to help push you to get you to the next level. So what happens next? There's a link right now here on the video. Click on the link, go into the forum. Don't think, just do this, folks. Pull out the card, type it in, and join me for this program. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I do this course once a year. This is the single most important thing you can do to get yourself to the next level, period. It's communication skills. You get the email, you get the login, you'll literally go into the Facebook group now, you'll upload a video tonight introducing yourself, and you'll be on a journey with me to take your life to the next level. So the link is right there. Again, click on it, take a deep breath, trust me and trust the process, pull the trigger, and let's do this, folks. I'm here to make it easy for you. You got the payment plan or pay in full and get all of these bonuses. Join the premium, join my inner circle. It's all happening right now, and I'm gonna get you to the next level. Let me show you what you will create if you join me on this journey for the next 6 weeks. You will build new levels of confidence. You'll understand how to influence anyone. You'll deliver your ideas with authenticity. You'll create a world-class speech. This is what you're going to do if you decide to pull the trigger and make this happen. And you know, now I want to answer a few questions from you. Again, these courses always fill up faster than we expect. There's always people that didn't pull the trigger fast enough. They're always like, Brian, there aren't any more spaces left. I'm like, sorry, next year we can do this. Until then, you're going to have to just put your life on hold. Now is the time to do this. Again, you've got personal mentorship, online accountability. That's what I'm offering you tonight. You've got the link in there. Go in there, type that credit card in and plug it in. You're going to get an email login, and you'll be through to the next level, and that's what this is about. So I'm here to answer your questions. You've got any questions here on the slide, I want to go to Julian right now, and I want to find out if you've got questions about the course, what's happening. But again, this is the kind of thing that will change your life. If you're here with me right now, if you spent the last hour with me, you've probably watched my emails, watched my online training, you probably spent hours about this. You know this is the thing you need to do with your life. So I can only take you so far. At some point, you've got to take a step across the divide, pull the trigger, but I guarantee you will be satisfied. You'll take your life on a whole nother level and you become a new person. And you know, I always get some questions which people ask me on a regular basis, and I wanted, maybe I could address those right now. Some people say, Brian, I don't live in London. What do I do? This is an online accountability course. So you actually don't need to be in this city to be involved. I'd actually prefer that you're somewhere else. We like all of the ideas from people all around the world. That's what they bring to this, some diversity. So we come online, we use this live video software called Zoom, which I might share with you later. So that is no problem. I'd actually prefer for you not to be here. We'll come here in London. I've had graduates in New York, California, Brazil, Tokyo, Australia, New Zealand. Again, I think we've had graduates from 68 countries from around the world. So that is what we do there. Some people say, Brian, I just don't have the time. And that one always makes me laugh. You know, if you think about people like Elon Musk and Richard Branson, they all have the same 24 hours in a day. So if you make time, this can really scale. I'm looking for 2 to 4 hours per week. If you stop checking Facebook every day, you'll have enough time. You can do this an hour on Saturday, an hour on Sunday. I'm looking for 2 to 4 hours per week, and you can really take yourself to the next level. Another question I get all the time is it really worth the investment? Communication skills can get you a promotion at work that will pay for this course literally overnight. They'll help you land a client that can also do the same. They'll help you make impact. That'll help you start a business or start a movement. This is really a tiny pay price to action to get you to the next level. Some people say, Brian, why would anyone want to listen to me? If you look back at the Simon Sinek from early days, or Dorian Yates, or even Dan Pena, they all started off as bad speakers. They learned how to communicate well. If you follow the process, you can always get there. So these are some of the common questions that I get. And here is a short video of what it's actually like to come to London, to be part of this whole graduation ceremony and be part of this whole event of what it's like to be inside an accelerator.
Like I was a mess, falling apart. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I pulled the trigger and signed up. I had to.
This course has just changed everything for me.
Who knows what life will look like in a year from now for each of us?
All right, London Reelers, welcome to London. Let me hear some roar here. Tonight, I'm pumped. We got the Midnight Run folks with us. We got glow sticks, we got music.
This is the first time we've ever seen each other in 3D. The first live call, and I saw all these people. It was so inspiring.
I loved being able to connect with people all over the world.
They're my family. They have become my family. We're all extensions of each other.
Everybody's helping each other. Everybody's holding each other accountable. You can do so much more than you ever thought.
Just now, like, my team asked me, how do you feel? And I said, I feel home. This is home for me.
What's beautiful about this process is if I'd had a way out, I'd have got out. But I couldn't let that lot down. I couldn't let my team down.
do not stop, because this is just the beginning right now.
Please stay vulnerable. When you hit rock bottom, reach out. You have all the support you need. Thank you.
So I just want you to congratulate yourselves for all the hard work you put in, for making it to London, for connecting with everyone here. It's really a community, what we have inside the London Real Academy, and that's why I believe that it's the people are the greatest asset on this course. And they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I'm going to introduce you to 100 people plus me. And you'll find when you hang out with people that are actually trying to make themselves better, that have great visions for their future, you become different. The truth is who you hanging out with right now. A lot of times your friends and family, they just don't think you can take your life to the next level, whether they know it or not. Sometimes they're kind of undercutting you when you try to do great things. If you told them tomorrow you wanted to do a TED Talk, they might say, oh, I don't know if you can do that. You get nervous. I'm talking about a peer group that not only expect you to succeed, but they demand that you succeed, and that's what's happening in here. So please type in any questions you have about the course, any details that you're curious about. I want to go to Julian right now and find out if people are curious about some things or if they're not sure what's happening here. What are people saying out there?
Got a question here from iOS. Says, do you offer scholarships? I live on $800 a month and $400 of that goes to rent.
Yeah, great question. Look, people ask me about scholarships and they ask me about price. The truth is this course is easily worth $20,000, right? I've taught people on this course that have taken this and made an extra $50,000 in 3 months, that have gone on to create $1 million businesses. So I think this is highly discounted as it is. The reason I don't discount it any further is this. There's something called pay price to action. And Julian, you remember, even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we used to give this information away for free. We used to hold free webinars, we used to teach this, and we used to try to get people to take action. And what happened? They didn't do anything. Because when people don't pay for it, they don't take it seriously and they don't actually show up when the times get hard. And when I ask you to go live on Facebook and start talking in front of a camera and upload it to the group, if you haven't paid a price to action, you'll find an excuse not to do it. And I always like to tell this story when it comes to my meditation practice. I woke up this morning and I meditated, right? Now, many of you have probably tried meditating and stopped. And back in the day, about 8 or 9 years ago, I actually paid $2,000 for a transcendental meditation course, right? And I went there and I brought a piece of fruit and a handkerchief and they played some videos of some dude in India. And I was like, what the heck is this? But since I paid for it, I showed up night after night after night and put this practice into place. 8 years later, I'm still meditating every day because I paid the price to action. If I watched some free videos on YouTube, I guarantee I wouldn't have done it. So why I do this is I don't waste my time on people that don't invest in themselves and invest in me. And by asking you to pay this price, it makes you show up and it makes you be the best version of you. And that's just the truth, folks. If you go ahead and do this, it means that I can invest in you because I know you're going to invest in myself. I can't waste my time on people that are just not going to show up and not do the work, and that's why it's true for you. And that's the concept of pay price to action. It's the reason the graduates of my courses have gone on to have $1.6 million launches. It's the reason that Virginia, 2 courses ago, made $30,000 on the course. Roger Frampton made $22,000 on the course. It's because I demanded that they put some money on the table, and that brought the best out in themselves. So that's what happens there. The gong is coming out. All right, this is the gong, and Julian's hitting it. Who has pulled the trigger out there?
Mike Simpson.
Mike Simpson. Look, Mike, you are unlike the rest of the people on this call right now, and I love you guys, all of you, but a lot of people are tourists. They come to these things, they get the information, they get inspired. I'm not here to inspire anybody. I'm here to get people to take action, to pull the trigger and transform themselves. Mike, you just did that and joined us. Again, he's 1 click away. You're all 1 click away from trusting the process. Again, you've got the money back guarantee. You can basically try this course out for free. You've got the payment plan. You've got all of these bonuses. You've got Dan paying you at the Ritz. You've got all of these things. And you're literally 1 click away. So Mike, I'm very impressed that he joined us here. He's got the gong to make it happen. The rest of you are literally 1 click away. Lock your spot in because this course will fill up probably in the next 24 hours, maybe 48. If you pull the trigger tonight, you get all of the bonuses. The first bonus number 1, 2, and 3, you lock them in. You can upgrade to pay in full tomorrow. You can upgrade to premium tomorrow. But if you want to lock that space in, do it tonight, because when I stop talking, those bonuses are gone. So I'm impressed with Mike. Any other questions for people out there?
Yeah, some great questions coming in. We've got Marcus asking, do we accept cryptocurrency?
Cryptocurrency, great question. The answer is yes. Can they actually pay on the checkout page for crypto or not?
I don't think so. Do they type in the chat?
Okay, so there's a chat box. If you go to the link here, which I think is londonreal.tv/, what is it, speak?
It's there, yeah.
Okay, it's there. If you click on that and just type in the chat, I want to pay with crypto, we'll send you the code and you can pay with it right away. I've had plenty of people that have paid in crypto. We've made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, but yes, we accept crypto, so that's there. Again, don't let this be an excuse. A lot of people start asking questions as an excuse not to take action. Yes, we do, so pull the trigger right now. Again, there's a chat box there with anyone that's having problems. If you're having a problem with the payment, we can see it happening. You can always email us at hello@londonreal.tv. But again, there's live chat right there right now to make it happen. Don't let an excuse not take you to the next level. A lot of time the monkey brain starts coming up with reasons. Don't let that win. You know this is the right thing to do. If you're on this call, this is the time to pull the trigger. Bam. Another person changing their life. I always want to ask this question, Julian. Why wasn't this you? The $197 you'll spend at the pub, you'll spend on some ab roller device, a year from now you won't remember it. But when you have the new confidence to get up in front of people, to start talking about your ideas, to get the promotion, to get that TED Talk, this is stuff that you'll remember the rest of your life. You're literally one step away. This is probably one moment. This is the closest you'll ever be to taking your public speaking skills to the next level. You'll have me to help you out here. Who's the person that stopped being a tourist and pulled the trigger? Who's this?
Dr. Elena Lechen.
Dr. Elena. Okay, I like it already. Dr. Elena, I can't wait to work with you. Look, you're going to get an email right now. You're going to jump into the private Facebook group full of a peer group you've never met before in your life. These are people that will become your friends, your family, your business partners. They're all around the world. The only thing that makes them different is that they've decided they've had enough. They've decided they're going to take action, stop being afraid, stop procrastinating, stop giving them the same excuses they've been given their whole life. They pulled the trigger. You've got an elite peer group. You're going to get module 1 to you straight away. If you paid in full, you're going to get Dan Pena live at the Ritz. 6 hours of him blasting. It's incredible. You're going to get a live video kickoff call with me. And look, we're going to start doing this. This is going to be a life-transforming experience. Trust me. I mean, the reason you see all these amazing videos of all these people is because we have something here which is unique. Honestly, Julian, I think we are the best educator when it comes to online accountability in the world. Nobody else can compare to us because we actually care. We walk the walk, we talk the talk, and I'm there with you live for 6 weeks. So there you go. Other questions?
Apanav says, what sort of background do you expect people to have prior to starting this course? For example, do we have to have a business or some sort of side gig going on?
No, not at all. Look, this is called Speak to Inspire. This is about communicating with persuasion. And again, this could be about being a better parent, about being better in social situations. This could be about pitching ideas at work, getting the promotion, or getting on the stage and talking about your ideas. I've had people that can barely be on a video call without feeling anxious. You remember? We had someone there. We had a woman that could barely be on the Zoom call. And actually, I think, Julian, I'm going to invite you all to a Zoom call right now or right in about 5 minutes. And you can literally ask me a question on this interactive video software that we use. And that same woman was here at London Real World Headquarters delivering a live speech. So the truth is I take people at all levels. I've had people on this course that have already been owners of million-dollar businesses, that have already been on the stage, but we took to the next level by honing their abilities. So no, all you need for this course is the desire to want more out of life, to want a better business, to want a better impact, just to be better communicator, to be more persuasive. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care if English is your first language. I've had graduates that are 15 years old. I've had graduates that are 85 years old. All it needs is, I need someone who's just tired of the way it is. You know, I always say, I think Albert Einstein once said, the definition of insanity is repeating the same behavior and expecting a different result. If you are not a good communicator, well, how are you going to change that? You can't keep doing the same things, which is avoid, resist, get embarrassed. What happens when you're asked to give a speech at the dinner? What happens when someone at a wedding wants you to get up? You cower away, you hide in the bathroom, you go have 4 drinks. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about new behavior with great mentors, with a proven blueprint. That's what we're offering here on Speak to Inspire. Other questions?
Yep, let's go with Iris. Brian, I thought the webinar was amazing. I want to join right now. I cannot make the first payment until the 13th of September. With that said, I may still join, or do I need to wait My only fear is that there will not be a spot.
Yeah, Iris, you're probably going to miss a spot. The 13th is going to be full up by then. But I would say, look, Iris, how bad do you want this? Is this really important? I'm sure you have a friend that has $197. Call them, text them, and say, look, this course is going to change my life. I believe in it so much that I'm asking you for this money. Iris, it means you're going to go all in even more. And I would argue, Iris, that you'll go in even harder from someone that's got $50,000, $100,000 in the bank. That might mean less to them. I've had people on this course. You remember Julianne Husner, seriously. I talked to her on this webinar. She had no lights in her home in Germany. She was eating out of like a can of beans. She said, Brian, I can't afford this course. I said, Julianne, how can you afford not to take this course? I'm talking about making a change in your life that'll get you to the next level, as opposed to this, oh, poor me, I'm still going to be poor and broke and out of communication. She pulled the trigger, she found the money, and it took her life to like the next level by 10x. This is the reason to do it right now. If you can't afford this, you have to find a way. And I don't believe that you can't find a way. Ask a friend. Put some skin in the game, Iris. Show me that you really want this, and I will promise to go there with you and take you to the next level. That's what this is about. And look, I'm always curious who this person is. There's like 300 or 400 or 500 people watching us right now. One of them pulled the trigger. The rest are just sitting there telling themselves the same excuses. They're living in fear. The truth is, the money you won't remember in a year or two, but the experience will be with you for a lifetime. Who's pulling the trigger now?
It's one of our tribe members, Wei Ki Chan.
Wei Ki Chan, look, it's awesome. You know, our tribe is this incredible community. Wei Ki knows what we do in the back end. They know we deliver value, and they know we're there with you all along the way, personally pushing you. So it's great to have you in here. I love the tribe. Tribe is amazing. This is the next level. This is really where you see yourself making huge changes. And again, your friends and family are going to say to you in 3 weeks' time, they're like, what's wrong with you? Like, you seem different. You seem excited and happy and more confident. Like, I'm really noticing you a lot. What's going on different? They'll be like, did you lose weight? Did you change your hair? No. I've been hanging out with London Real. I've been hanging out with Brian Rose. I've been pulling the trigger and taking action. Another person, literally, folks, you are literally like one step away. You got this piece of plastic, type it in there, pull the trigger. The peer group alone, you're going to hang out with me. It's going to be amazing. Who's that?
Robin Hartman.
Robin Hartman, you grabbed the spot. I don't know how many spots are left here. Robin, congratulations for pulling the trigger. Again, once you see yourself in there, we're going to start taking action. And you're going to find that fear is exactly that. False expectations appearing real. Most people are so scared of the stage, right? They think everything's going to fall apart. The truth is it's fine. You're going to get to where you love going on stage. I've got to get up in front of 200 people for our world premiere of our latest movie, Iron Mind, in 10 days, right? And I got to get up there. I'm already creating my speech, ethos, pathos, logos. And I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited because once you start doing this, you'll actually want to get up there. It's a crazy adrenaline rush. It's cheaper and safer than any street drug out there. And you're going to get up on stage and you're going to find that, wow, this is an amazing way to inspire humans and connect. I'm giving you the roadmap to do this. Literally 6 weeks. They're warming up here, Bales. They're realizing what's up. Who's that?
Rocky Gutin.
Rocky, I'm telling you, you just pulled the trigger here. And again, I always say a tourist is someone who goes to this incredible new place and they're like, wow, look at these people doing incredible things. And what do? They go home to their same horrible, boring life. Don't be that person tonight. Don't be a tourist. Literally pull the trigger. Take the card out, bang in the 16 numbers. Trust me, trust the process. London Real has been here for 7 years. I'm going to be here for another 70 years, delivering content, delivering transformation. And again, I want to take you on a journey where 6 weeks from now, literally October 28th, you'll be able to get up in front of a group of 10 people or 20 people and give a 5-minute speech where you're going to empower someone. You're going to use pathos, ethos, and logos. You're going to use body language. You're going to inspire them. And afterwards, people are going to come up to you and say, wow, I've never felt like that. I've never seen you do this. I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to start getting impact from everyone around you. Again, little things like promotions, your family will be different, but you're going to really start to see that life is different when you can communicate. Who's that?
Valal Dupont.
Valal Dupont, you just pulled the trigger. That sounds like some people on the continent making this happen. Look, folks, the truth is I do this once a year. And like I said, I am all in with you. You're going to see me live on these calls on Tuesday night. I'm going to be looking at you and talking to you. I'm going to answer questions about what I've learned when it comes to speaking Inspire. But the truth is this is all about doing the work. It's about structuring a speech. It's about doing rehearsal. But I'm going to get you more confident. You're going to be doing live videos. This group of people is absolutely incredible. Once you get in there, you know, it's funny, Julian, some people say, like, the day after they pay for the course, they're like, Brian, I already feel the transformation. because they know they've got skin in the game and they know that I will not accept your BS answers anymore. No more excuses. When you join this course, I'm going to make sure I get you to the next level. Kicking and screaming, I'm going to drag you across the goal line. And a lot of people say, Brian, I already feel like I've changed because I know I'm going to go into the fear. I'm going to stop giving excuses. Again, public speaking is so simple. It doesn't require money. It's not like starting a business. It doesn't require a corporation or any of these stuff. All you have to do is literally stand up out of your chair, put your shoulders back, raise up your head, look people in the eye, and give them a carefully constructed message. Again, pathos, ethos, and logos. You can do it 1 minute at the dinner table. You can do it with your family tonight. You can do it with a group of 3 colleagues tomorrow. You can go into your boss's office and say, hey, let me tell you a little bit of story about what happened to me on the job with a client the other day. I went to them and I did this and I told them this and I got them to double the amount of money they spend with the company. That's a story, pathos. You say, I've been with this company for 5 years. I've been here early every day. I've been promoted. I've done this. I've done this. That's a little bit of your ethos. And finally, you're going to say, I've increased sales in my department by 23% over the last 2 years. That's why I'm asking for a raise of $5,000 today. Bam! Literally, you can give that speech after pulling the trigger on this course. I'm talking about real results. That's what we promise here. I've got the blueprint I'm going to give to you. Lifetime access, 24/7 support. You've got this group of people. You've got 3 video modules, 3 videos per module. It's really an incredible experience. And so that's what we're offering here again tonight. Lock this spot in. I'm going to hear, who's that?
David Davis.
David Davis, pulling the trigger here. Again, this course will close soon. And I always get these people. I had someone that stopped me on the street Wednesday last week, and they said, oh, Brian, I meant to join your last business accelerator, but I missed it. What happened? Can I join? I said, no, you've missed it for like a year. But I was like, but you had ample time, dude. You were on the webinar with me. You were on the live masterclass. You had the link. You had the credit card. With the payment plan, there's no excuses. Even for Iris, I'm sorry, Iris, you can text 3 people right now and say, I need $197. Send me your credit card. I'll pay you back. I'm going to go all in on this program. I know this guy, Brian Rose. You can YouTube him if you want. You'll see he's been watched by over 100 million people in the world. That shows me you've got skin in the game. So again, you all are literally 16 digits away from making this happen. Trust me and trust the process. That's why we've got the 60-day money-back guarantee. We've got the payment plan. I'm going to make you a great speaker, and this is going to have major knock-on effects in your life. And that's why I love doing this. I love teaching this course. I love seeing the transformation. Again, I didn't talk about this. We have an optional graduation event in December where people fly from all around the world. If you get to London, the rest of it is free from us. You get to come to the world headquarters. You get to have your interview with me if you've upgraded to premium. You get to give your speech in front of a live group here. We record it. I give you the feedback. We've got dinner on us. We've got museum tours. We got a walking tour here in London. You really crystallize what you've learned. And I've seen people take that graduation event and go on and do TED Talks. And again, some of my students, Roger Frampton, he had the most watched TEDx talk last year. 2.5 million views. One of my students when it comes to public speaking. He was a personal trainer in a park when I met him. I worked on him with 16 months. I said, Roger, you got to do a TED Talk. Roger, you got to do a TED Talk. He did it. He got a 2-book deal after that was done. That's what we do here. We're all about transformation. So if there's any questions, I'll answer them now. If not, I want to play this video really quick and answer a couple of videos. You got a question?
I've got one quick question here.
Okay.
Robin says, actually 2 quick questions.
Okay.
How much does it take during the 6 weeks? And what time are the calls? Are they 7 till 8? I believe these ones are actually 8:15 they start.
Oh, they are, of course. They are 8:15, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. All right, so my mistake. So these calls happen at 8:15 London time, all right? We do that because I'm live on these calls. Every single week, I'm live there with you. I'm looking at you. I've watched your speeches. I'm like, okay, I like this, but I didn't like this. Not enough pathos. Where's the logos? I talked about this. I didn't like, I want your posture. I want you standing up straighter. All these things, I give you feedback. It's from 8:15 to 9:15. If you can't make the call, we record it and we upload it in the Facebook group, which you have lifetime access. So even if you have to take a week off or 2 weeks off, don't let that be an excuse. I had one of my students that went climbing in Russia for 2 weeks. He came back, he watched the live courses, he got back on track. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. That happens at 8:15 on Tuesdays and Sundays. And was there another question too? Oh, the time per week. I want 2 to 4 hours per week. Literally, if you delete right now, which you should do anyways, Facebook and Instagram for your phone, you've just got 2 to 4 hours a week back. That's all I'm asking you for. I need you to basically do 30 minutes of homework every week. I need you to show up for the 2 one-hour calls. I need you to interact with your students. The biggest problem you're going to have is your own fear. That's what always is the problem. It's not time. is that you're going to have a hard time with your own personal resistance. That's why I'm here. I'm going to push you to get in front of the camera. Once you do it, you're going to find it super addictive. You're going to love it more and more. But the biggest thing that's going to hold you back is your own fear. That's why we're here in this accountability system.
One last thing is that I can see Fennec here trying to buy. It's not gone through. Occasionally that does happen.
Okay.
Please communicate with us on the live chat there. We'll hold that spot for you.
Yeah.
And it's worth, he's tried a full payment there, worth trying the payment plan. Sometimes it goes through.
Okay, so Fennec, we see you tried the full payment. Try the payment plan for $197. You can lock your spot in and we can upgrade you tomorrow and you can get the full pay. We'll get you Dan Pena live at the Ritz as soon as we get that. I'll get the video call scheduled with me. And so that's locked in. Again, folks, if you can lock the spot in tonight, when we hit the maximum number here, we're full. We shut it down. That might happen tonight by the looks of things. So make sure you lock the spot in. And again, $197. Iris, do what you got to do. Make it happen. Crypto, make it happen. And again, try the $197. If not, call your bank and make it happen. But this thing happens all the time. You know, before we get to another question, and again, I want to go on a Zoom call with everyone here. I want to play a video of some of my graduate students. Again, they came to graduation, I sat them in the leather chair, and they talked about their experiences on this course. Here is it from the words of people that actually took this course. This changed their life, this took their communications to the next level, and here is them talking to me.
How can you change whatever circumstance you're in, whether it's business, whether it's friends, whatever it is, how can you change that if you're not willing to have a voice for yourself? It's a must.
You need someone who sets the schedule out for you, who sets out the assignments, who gives you a kick in the butt if you get lost. Then you need a course like this.
I would tell them to do it. That's where I was. I don't have anything to say. I can't inspire anyone, but that's not true. You do have a voice. You do have a passion, and it needs to get out there. So take that chance, that leap of faith, and do it, and you won't regret it at all. Not at all.
If you're really serious about changing your life, pull the trigger. You know, like, make it happen. You know, it's not even an investment. It's like bigger than an investment. It's your life. If you're not gonna invest in, like, do something about your life, then, you know, the box is waiting.
Just don't think about it. Just pull the trigger, because you transform your life. You can do it by yourself. I was thinking about doing public speaking for, I don't know, 1.5 years. I never did anything. I had the biggest piece of resistance being thrown at me, and you still managed to pull me through. There is nothing in the market like that. Nothing that can do that.
What can be worth more than investing in yourself? It's such a simple question, but we have the most resistance to that. Don't look at your resources, because that is resistance. Questioning, do I have this? Do I have the time? Do I have the money? That is all resistance. The question is, do I want this? Do I want to do this? What kind of person am I going to be when I come out the other side? And if I want to do that, you can decide to get through the resistance. So do you want to play the big game? Because if you do, then you've got to invest and you've got to do it.
Don't think about it. Brian knows what he's doing. The accountability is incredible, and you will get through it and you will become a better person. For sure.
Looks like Finnick made it happen with the payment plan. That's the way to lock that spot in. Again, talked in the chat there. We'll get you upgraded to pay in full. We'll get you Dan Pena at the Live at Ritz. So awesome to do that. Again, anyone else can upgrade later if you want to get those bonuses. And of course, if you want to go premium, you can sit here in the studio with me. I hope you enjoyed listening to those students. Again, these are people that were just like you right now. Literally, they were on the Masterclass and they were coming up with all the excuses. I don't have the money. Tonight, now is not the right time. It's almost like having kids. It's never the right time, right? There's always something coming up or something that's true. The truth is it's never the right time to pull the trigger, but now is always the right time. And so those people, literally their lives changed. Some of those people had no money. They borrowed the money. Some of those people thought they were confident speakers and they realized that they weren't. Some of those people have taken those speech structures and started businesses, done TED Talks, gotten promotions. It's really changed their life. And you can see more of those testimonials if you go to this page, londonreal.tv/inspire. But the truth is you don't need to watch another video. At this point, you've been hanging out with me for the last 90 minutes. You know that this will change your life. I expect the best from you. I'm gonna push you to the next level. I'm not gonna accept your excuses. Again, we've got an incredible system here. The accountability doc, the triple tiered accountability, we have the strategy and the community, and we've got people pulling the trigger tonight. Who's that?
Evan Gilbert in Canada, I believe.
Evan Gilbert paying us with that Canadian dollars. I love it. Look, Evan, you have done the right thing tonight. You know, and again, pull the trigger. Trust me, trust this process. I've graduated thousands of students now. And again, I'll take the Pepsi challenge on anything out there online right now, because most people, they get you to this point, and once you pay, they send you a few videos and say, do it in your own time. I know that doesn't work, and I'm not going to put my name behind it or London Real behind it. The truth is that I don't need your money. I need transformation. I need your testimonial. I want to do this for the next 50, 70 years. I want to build an army of people that are transforming the world. That's what this is about. That's why I go all in on these courses. That's why I hold them once a year. You don't get these digitally. There's no other way of getting this information, because I need to teach you. I need to literally lay hands on you and make sure you take the action and get to the next level. The first video is going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. The next one's going to be easier. First, you're going to build the structure. Then you're going to try these techniques. You're going to get the posture better. Pretty soon, you'll find that you're naturally communicating better. That's what this course is all about. And if you're still here watching me on this masterclass, you're probably at home right now on the computer and you're thinking, you know what, Brian? I know I got to do this, you know, but something's still holding me back. And it's probably what's been holding you back most of your life, right? It's probably the reason you've missed opportunities. You've not got that promotion. People have ignored your ideas. It's because you haven't actually taken ownership and pulled the trigger. And the truth is what you fear is not real. And I remember getting on that TED stage for the first time. I was really nervous. I went to the bathroom right before, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I could hear the previous speaker, and they were talking. I had like 3 minutes left, and I just looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, Brian, you've got this. You've done the practice. This is the thing that's going to scale everything you've been doing at London Real for the past 3 years. And those were the most important 16 minutes of my life. They literally 100x'd everything. That speech brought in millions of dollars, but it's because I had the confidence to do it. I'm here to personally mentor you to get you to the next level. Now is the time. If you're on this masterclass, it means the world is giving you a message. It's giving you a sign. Whether you believe in the law of attraction or not, we are here together right now, but you've got to pull the trigger. So take a deep breath, click on the link, type in the credit card. Again, you got a 60-day money-back guarantee if you're not absolutely satisfied. You got the payment plan if you want to lock it in. If you can't come up with $197, you're lying to me. You don't want this bad enough, and I really don't want you on this program. But if you really want to change your life, trust me and trust the process. But I just want to close with this final statement. If you're even considering this, then you must take action. And they say fortune favors the brave, and if you don't shoot, you always miss. And that's really the truth. When I look back at my life, it was the time where I didn't take the action, where I missed opportunities. It's one thing to make mistakes. That's okay. We learn from them. But when you don't pull the trigger, you never know. I guarantee this course will change your life. Trust me, trust this process. I've been here for 7 years. I'll be here for the next 70. And I'll be taking your life to the next level. I love transforming people. I'm going to be personally mentoring you. This kind of thing only happens once a year, once in a lifetime. Now is the time to take action. So click on the link in Zoom. I'll see you over here on the software. And I finally want to leave you with a video that'll teach you a little bit more about what I do inside Speak to Inspire. But again, stop watching videos. Don't research this to death. Really, if you're feeling this, pull the trigger. If you trust me and trust the process and it feels like the right thing to do, make it happen. People are making this happen right now. Who is that?
Rick Ritter.
Rick Ritter pulling the trigger. Again, these people aren't crazy, but they've had enough. They're tired of mediocrity. They're tired of being on the sidelines and watching other people make things happen. The truth is, the guests you see on London Real, they're not special. They don't have anything they were born with. All they did was they pulled the trigger and they went into the fear. That's true. Whether it's Dorian Yates or Ido Portal or Eddie Izzard, I always say, what did he do? He decided to stop telling himself excuses, to stop procrastinating, to get a good peer group, find a good mentor, and take his life to the next level, or take her life to the next level. That's what this is about. If you're here on the call with me right now, literally, you're 16 digits away from being inside my inner circle, from getting these bonuses, from joining the Facebook group, from changing your life. And again, you want to get Dan Pena live at the Ritz, you want to join me for the live video call, you want to sit down in a leather chair and have your own interview at London Real Studios, you want to join my inner circle group and build an 8-figure business, I'm telling you, you look at the people like Steve Jobs and Tim Cook and JFK and Martin Luther King, they weren't born with this skill, they learned it, and that's what I want to teach you tonight. If you're feeling this, if you're feeling me, if you're even on this call, you and I both know you should be on this course. Pull the trigger. Stop making excuses. Trust me, I can't wait to get in there and personally mentor you. It's going to be so much fun. The graduation is fun. The peer group are incredible. You're going to know these people the rest of your lives, and I know this experience is going to change your life. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Again, always think about communication. Just get out of your comfort zone. That's where all the fun happens. All right? And this is a final video. I want to share with you a little bit about more what we do inside Speak to Inspire. If you want to become the most inspiring person in the room, touch thousands of lives, and create real change with your words, then this video is for you. Let me ask you something. Do you ever look at charismatic speakers like Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, or Simon Sinek and think to yourself, I want to be just like that? The person who speaks and makes everyone inspired. To motivate an audience to change their life, take action, and do what you say. Influential speaking is one of the most powerful skills you can learn. And yes, it is a skill. Even Steve Jobs had a public speaking coach. Unfortunately, few people ever truly develop great speaking. And without it, people will ignore your ideas and forget who you are. Without it, you risk losing out on opportunities to others. You've seen it before. People who aren't as talented as you rising faster through the ranks because they know how to use words and body language to inspire confidence and get things done their way. Your ideas are better, but you struggle to get them across because you're stuck in your head and worried what other people think of you. Or you're so afraid to say the wrong thing that you say nothing at all. It's frustrating to know you could make a difference if only people would listen. But when you've mastered this skill, the whole world opens up to you. It's like having a superpower. You can win clients, close deals, and get your boss to see things your way. And you can even touch thousands of lives with your message. You can become the charismatic person people want to be around because they can feel your passion and confidence when you speak. The ability to capture attention and inspire people to act gives you a massive advantage in life. If you want to truly learn how to speak with influence, then now is your chance. In just a moment, you're going to discover how to become the most important person in the room with our Speak to Inspire mentorship program. These teachings are based on my TED Talk that was watched by over 275,000 people and turned me into a key person of influence. Plus, I reveal 6 years of insider secrets I gathered from interviewing the most inspiring people on the planet. This program shows you how to become a world-class speaker. It teaches you to craft the perfect message, speak with power, and inspire people to act on your ideas. You'll discover how to book paid speaking gigs, earn bigger promotions, and win new clients so you can make more money. And the beauty is, this works even if you're a total introvert, like me. Other courses send you videos and leave you to figure it all out on your own, which is why their average completion rate is only 5%. Speak to Inspire uses our trademarked Real Accountability Protocol, which gives our programs a 96% completion rate. That's nearly 20 times more than the average. Me and my team of coaches will work closely with you, turning you into a world-class speaker. You get twice weekly live video calls, a private Facebook group, and 24-hour response time access to our dedicated community manager to ensure your success in this program. When you can speak well, you no longer feel like people are ignoring you.
You no longer struggle to make people believe in you. And you no longer have those days where you wake up feeling horrible, thinking, I'm not good enough. Instead, you feel excited to use your voice to leave a legacy you can be proud of. I know it's true because this is what I went through. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert, not a natural speaker. For the first 40 years of my life, I gave a total of 0 talks. And thank God, I would feel bad for anyone who would have had to listen to me. But when I decided to do a TED Talk, I realized this was my opportunity. I knew it was the most effective way to spread my message. And even if my talk had bombed, I knew the confidence I would gain from presenting in front of a crowd would make it worth it. At that time, speaking on stage was the scariest thing I could imagine. After all, if I could handle that, then things like giving a business presentation or starting a conversation with strangers would be a piece of cake. This was a life skill worth having and rocket fuel for my career. Up until my TED Talk, I had spent thousands on speaking coaches and courses. They were helpful, but not for the big impact I wanted to have. You see, I didn't want my speech to be just interesting, which is what most courses teach. I wanted it to be life-changing. Luckily, I had a secret weapon. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to have some of the best speakers in the world come on my show. When they speak, people don't just listen, they take action. I would always ask them off camera what their secrets were, and it led to a gold mine of insights. These 400 people taught me incredible lessons on how to be more influential. Armed with these secrets, I crafted a TED Talk I was proud of. It's been the single biggest catalyst for my career. I call it the most important 16 minutes of my life. Afterwards, top-level people started seeking me out. Big-time entrepreneurs wanted to collaborate on business ventures. And tens of thousands of inspired fans wrote in saying how I truly impacted their lives. So if you want to become an inspirational speaker who leaves a legacy you're proud of, there's never been a better time to start. Here are 3 insider secrets I learned from the most inspiring speakers on the planet. These will give you a massive head start when it comes to standing out from the crowd. Secret 1 is that great speaking starts with great listening. When I decided to give a TED Talk, I was pumped up. But I immediately started doubting myself. I remember thinking, what could I possibly talk about? I haven't accomplished anything. But I knew from Simon Sinek and others that a great speech isn't about the speaker, it's about the listener. When you understand the hopes, fears, and struggles of the people you're talking to, it doesn't matter how interesting you are. Stick to the topics that resonate with your audience, and you set yourself up for long-term success. For example, listening to others showed me how many people struggle to find their purpose. That's why I made my talk about my own struggle in that area. But there's more. Before I went on stage, I walked around and spoke to everyone in the crowd. This helped me understand their motivation so I could connect with them better. At the end of the TED Talk, I challenged people to start a real podcast in their own city. Instead of nodding their heads going, yeah, neat idea, people went out and actually did it. Reels started popping up all over the planet in New York, LA, Vancouver, and more. If you want to resonate with people, the first thing to do is listen. That's how you'll find those hot button topics that'll strike a nerve and move them to take action. Secret 2 is that being authentic doesn't just happen. Many people saw my TED Talk, but nobody saw what happened behind the scenes to make it a success. 8 weeks of military-style rehearsing is what I put myself through for this one moment. I probably practiced that entire talk 250 different times. And I recorded myself giving that talk on camera over 30 times.
I would rewatch it over and over again so I could catch my flaws and iron them out. Sometimes watching it made me cringe, but I forced myself to do it. My goal was to hit that sweet spot between being prepared and sounding natural, because I knew that authenticity takes practice. When you see someone like Jocko Willink or Dan Pena speak on stage, they sound totally natural. But that's because they've practiced their speech down cold. Another great example of this is top comedians like Jimmy Carr. They always looked like they rolled on stage and started shooting off hilarious jokes. The reality is, they've tested their words, pauses, intonation, hand movements, everything. They hone their act over and over in small clubs before they're ready for that Netflix special. A mentor of mine once told me something I'll never forget. If you sound rehearsed, you didn't rehearse enough. It's so true. Now, I know it isn't easy to be natural and authentic when you have a crowd of people watching you. You get self-conscious. But if you put in the hard work, watch yourself, and get feedback, the right words will flow when it's time to go big. Secret 3 is that you're on stage 24/7. Every day, you have the chance to inspire and influence others with your words. The opportunity is there, whether you use it or not. You could be with family, at work, or talking to a small group at dinner. And the truth is, people are dying to be inspired. It's like Thoreau said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Now more than ever, people are starved for real connection. They want someone to get their blood pumping and brighten their day. This lesson hit home for me while I was chatting with people before my TED Talk. In the beginning, I assumed none of them liked me. But when I told them I was speaking, their eyes lit up and they'd say, "Good luck, I'm sure you'll be great." That's when I realized these people were on my side. They wanted me to succeed. And so does your boss, the people in your audience, your girlfriend or husband, and most people you speak to. They want you to inspire them and make them feel good. When you can inspire people with your words, you become memorable. People want to be around you. Opportunities open up and doors appear where once there were only walls. But if you're like most people, you have a critic in your head that constantly holds you back. The one with impossible standards that shoots down anything you want to say because it's not good enough. How about we replace that critic with unshakable confidence and the ability to speak with power and persuasion? Sound good? For years, people have been asking me how to be a more influential speaker. So finally, I decided to put all of my knowledge into a simple, step-by-step program anyone can use to become the most inspiring person in the room in a fraction of the time it took me to learn. The result is our fast-track course called Speak to Inspire, where I personally mentor you to become a masterful speaker who can take any stage and create a real impact in people's lives. I have created hours of video that will teach you to use influential speaking to land gigs, win more clients, and inspire people with your voice. In this course, you'll learn to uncover your core message, master your body language, become an expert, speak with persuasion, and so much more. Plus, you'll have 2 live video calls per week with me and my team to keep you on track and hold you accountable. Let's take a quick peek at what's inside the program. Module 1 is where you discover your inspirational message. This week is about finding your why, so you can tap into your natural influence. Once you grasp this, your speaking will accelerate to new heights. First, we look at the 5 London Real commandments of great speaking. We will break down what the top speakers all have in common, so you can absorb those qualities and inspire people with your voice. Then, we teach you how to find your first 1,000 true fans. You'll uncover what type of speaker you want to be so you can attract your perfect audience. Next, I'll teach you our proven confidence on command technique to raise your self-esteem within seconds. It's perfect right before you stand up in front of a large group. Lastly, I'll show you my personal process for eliminating nervousness completely. I do this before every talk, and it's never failed me once. Once you're clear on your why, we'll move on to Module 2, crafting your message for maximum impact. When you dig up your core beliefs and values, you'll know exactly what to say to leave a lasting impact on your audience. You'll learn proven methods for turning your ideas into a well-structured speech. If you've ever had too much to say or didn't know what to say, this will end all of that for good. Then I'll teach you how to use a bulletproof action to make people do what you want without sounding forced. This is the key to inspiring people to act on your ideas and do what you suggest. Lastly, we'll go over pro-level language tips to help you become a more effective and persuasive communicator. Next is Module 3, charismatic storytelling techniques. Here, you'll learn the key elements of great storytelling. We'll teach you how to tell a riveting story that's worth your audience's time. First, I'll break down the differences between good and bad storytelling, so you can see why some work and others completely miss the mark. Then I'll reveal the power of using a hero's journey to amplify the effect of your stories. This was responsible for my TED Talk racking up hundreds of thousands of views. Next, I'll help you build your own hero's journey from scratch, giving you the formula to turn up the emotional impact in your speech. And to wrap it all up, you'll discover how to tell stories that captivate people instantly. Just knowing this will make you stand out from the crowd. Now, you're ready for Module 4, bulletproof your credibility. Here you will incorporate expert-level credibility into your speech, so people believe in every word you say. We'll start by going over the instant inspire moment, a method to hook your audience's full attention. Now, they will view you as an authority in a matter of minutes. Next, you'll learn how to uncover the interesting facts about your topics that completely blow your audience away, no matter how mundane your subject matter is. Plus, we'll teach you an effective method for using statistics, quotes, and testimonials from other experts. This injects persuasive power into your speech by using something called borrowed credibility. All of this prepares you for Module 5, secrets to authentic delivery on stage. Here you'll learn how to shape a magnetic voice to captivate your audience and how to master your body language to be stage ready under the spotlight. You'll learn effective techniques to get out of your head so you stop overthinking things. And you will no longer get caught up in your audience or lose your train of thought. In Module 6, you'll learn persuasion frameworks to influence the masses. Here we take everything you've learned and now use it to inspire thousands or potentially millions of people. This module teaches you proven methods to scaling your persuasive speaking to the masses so you can use your voice to leave a legacy you're proud of. I'll reveal Aristotle's world-famous persuasion framework. History's greatest orators use this to start global movements time and time again. This framework played a huge role in delivering my high-impact TED Talk, and I'm going to show you how to master it. Next, how to encourage people to take action using Monroe's motivated sequence. Then I'll reveal my audience restoration method, which allows you to jolt the room alive when the energy is low. Now you can gauge the room and constantly keep a pulse on the collective energy at all times. And lastly, I'll teach you how to recover from any embarrassing mess up by performing the neuralizer. This move is epic. It gives you the ability to turn any mistake into a masterful moment that will make the audience praise you even more. Module 7, Make Them Laugh, Comedy Fundamentals. Here you'll learn 3 bulletproof comedy fundamentals: the rule of 3, the power of misdirection, and the law of opposites. Module 8, crush your final speech. Here, we'll review everything from the entire course to prepare for your final presentation. Next, I'll show you how to present online with impact. And finally, we'll create your action plan for the next 12 months. You will have access to all of the material for life. So if you ever fall behind or want a refresher, you can go back to it anytime. And that's not all. We've created a 3-part accountability program to keep you moving forward no matter what. Here's what's included in that. First, we have 2 one-hour live video calls per week. Myself and my team will connect via live video call with you and the rest of the Speak to Inspire community every week throughout the course. Each week, we'll help you through the material and make sure you're not falling behind. All calls are recorded, so if you can't make one, no problem. You can catch up the next day. You'll also have your own mini mastermind group during that time. These are small group calls led by one of my hand-selected speaking coaches. They're a great place to ask questions and get feedback. They'll also hold your feet to the fire and make sure you get stuff done. You'll continue with monthly mastermind calls with your small group for the next year, so you can support each other through your entire journey. Second, you get access to our private Speak to Inspire Facebook group. Here, you'll post your progress and connect with the rest of the class, so you can stay inspired and continue to be held accountable. You'll also have the chance to pitch ideas, network, and reach out to me, my team, and the community for extra guidance. We'll be there for your entire journey. And third, you will get a 24-hour turnaround response from my team. Consider this your bat line. Anytime you feel yourself losing traction, hit us up. My team and I will make sure you get through any hurdles or obstacles that threaten your success in this program. At the end of the course, we have something very special, an optional graduation ceremony in London. This is an incredible action-packed weekend where you will perform your final speech in front of a live audience. Visit the new London Real World headquarters, meet and network with your fellow classmates, record interviews inside London Real Studios, enjoy our gala graduation dinner, and get inspired for your future as a great speaker who can communicate with influence and persuasion. Again, this event is optional, but I highly recommend it. If you're unable to attend, we will live stream your speech to the audience via video link. Now, you do have other options for becoming a world-class speaker. For example, you could hire an A-list private speaking consultant to coach you. But this would cost between $3,000 and $5,000 for one half-day session. If you paid that consultant for 6 weeks, the damage would easily cost you between $180,000 and $300,000. You could also try to learn this by yourself online for free, but it would take you years just to become good at it. And let's face it, if you could learn this yourself, you already would have done it by now. The truth is, it's nearly impossible to get good at this without accountability and mentorship. Speak to Inspire cuts years off your learning curve and transforms you into an exceptional speaker. You can easily use these skills to earn a promotion, win better clients, or land a paid speaking gig that pays you back 10 times this investment. And since this is such a game changer, I want everyone to have an opportunity at this. So you can get the entire course today for the low price of $2,997. Of course, we do have a payment plan, which is 6 payments of $597. But if you pay in full today, I have 2 special bonuses for you. The first is a video kickoff call with me, where we can talk about what your main motivations are for learning how to speak to inspire. Whether you want to be on the stage, get that promotion, or speak in front of clients or friends, we can take the next steps necessary to get you across the goal line. And the second pay in full bonus is Dan Pena live at the Ritz. This was an event we held a few years ago where 30 entrepreneurs flew in from around the world to listen to the $50 billion man. And if you want to see how the big dogs do it, you must watch this video because Dan comes out blasting. He gets everybody in the room on the back foot and then reels them back in until the end of the day where they're eating out of the palm of his hand. I'm telling you, this is a master class in speaking to inspire, and if you pay in full, I will send you that video right now. We also have the premium package, where you receive everything from the basic package, plus a one-on-one video call with me, where I can assess your current speaking skills and how we can now 10x them by the end of the course. You also get my private email and Facebook chat for the entire duration of the mentorship. And the big one, you get to smell the leather with your own one-on-one interview right here at London Real Studios, sitting in the chair opposite me. This is a huge asset that can kickstart your role as a key person of influence and give you massive amounts of social proof. And lastly, for the people who want to go all in, I'm offering the Inner Circle package, where I will personally mentor you for 6 months after the course is complete. Not only that, you will get access to my Inner Circle, an exclusive group of driven entrepreneurs who are hungry to make a change and take their lives and businesses to the next level. Here we go big. So if you want to do that TED Talk or build that 7-figure business, this package is for you. This course is open for an extremely limited time only. Then I'm pulling the offer. No one gets in after this. I like to honor my word for those who take action in time. Anyone who rushes back asking if they can still get in will be put on the waiting list. Here, you'll be notified the next time this opens up. Make no mistake, this 6-week course will change your life. It will transform you into an inspiring person who can create real impact in the world. But you must act quick. When it's over, it's gone. So now is your chance to get in.
I honestly recommend this. It's been a great experience. Occasionally it was really tough, to be honest, but you were right.
It's kind of on the list of things to do in the given week. There was a message that came out that said, right, you've got 3 hours to do it before a call. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
It was a great lesson for me. It's something I could teach my kids. It's something my wife and I talk about. And it's a good lesson for anyone. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, because when you do it, you'll be surprised the response that you receive.
But of course it was a shock. First of all, speaking English, native language is Finnish. That was maybe the first one. Then vlogging, filming yourself, never done that. I enjoy it now. And vlogging is no problem.
The program is interesting because it's this nice mix of digital products that you can go back to anytime, but then there's the element of the live calls and the Facebook messaging and the community, now real life interaction. So it's this really multi-dimensional experience, and it's frankly, it's just delightful. It really is.
Big motivator for me. Meeting everybody this weekend, meeting up with everybody that we've been interacting with really regularly, on the Zoom calls, great technology. That's another thing that I love about this. It's not just, right, 2 months, done, see you later.
So now I am me. I feel 100% me, and that I have nothing to hide.
This has been like getting home for me.
The new me, I'm talking to everyone. I talk to the taxi cab driver, I talk to the person at the coffee shop. I hand out my business card because I'm happy, I'm proud.
And I know I will have close ties to the people of this group forever.
To make this a no-brainer for you, I've decided to throw in 3 special bonuses valued at $1,997, absolutely free. In typical London Real fashion, I want to over-deliver and give you every advantage in becoming a world-class speaker. These bonuses will ensure your success beyond the course and help you make a return on your investment. They won't be available anywhere else. You can only get them if you join today. Bonus 1 is called the Inspirational Speaker Lifestyle Blueprint. It takes you behind the scenes on how to create the professional speaker lifestyle for yourself. These are the exact methods I've discovered from successful, world-class speakers on turning this into a profession that pays you well. You'll learn effective strategies to create an amazing lifestyle business out of this. Then, we'll learn how to find better speaking gigs that pay you big money. And we'll even cover how to get invited to speak at conferences as a keynote speaker. Making this shift will multiply your business while doing less work. Bonus 2 is called your next big promotion. Whether you're in a new company or an experienced veteran, this will help you persuade those in charge to give you the next big promotion. I'll teach you different strategies for using professional speaking skills to have more influence in your workplace. This gives you the buy-in you need to make your job easier and get what you want. Plus, you'll discover how to build a compelling case as to why you deserve a better opportunity. And lastly, bonus 3 is called Win More Clients, Make More Money. Selling is the most important skill in business today. In this training, you'll learn to sell from any platform to win more clients and make more money. You'll learn to use persuasive speaking to sway investors and well-paying clients to your business without feeling like you're selling to them. And finally, I'll teach you advanced selling methods to amp up your influence and turn total strangers into profitable customers. If you're still on the fence about joining, let me ask you something. When you look back on the past few years, how do you feel? Are you proud of what you accomplished? Are you proud of the person you've become? Or do you feel like you've been playing smaller than you are? Like you're sitting on a spring of untapped potential? What if nothing changes? What if the way you spend today is more or less the same you do for the next 6 years, 10 years, or 20 years? Would you look back with pride, knowing you left it all on the field and lived a full life? Or would you feel like you missed out on something? All because you chose to stay on the sidelines where it was safe, instead of climbing into the arena with people who put themselves on the line every day. If you're ready to become an inspirational speaker, get people fired up, and impact thousands of lives with your message, then join me today. Click the button below right now and let's get started. I'll be right there in your corner every step of the way. So pull the trigger and get immediate access now. And I'll see you on the inside.